Oh yeah, that's what I've been seeing
Hmm.
like the last few days. Uh, the World Baseball Classics I think is cool because that's something that it's like the world, so like it's cool in that aspect. A lot of different like ins and outs that I was reading about that were pretty cool. Uh, with like citizenship being granted to certain players so that they could play right before a game in Mexico, and I think that is the funniest thing ever. So,
Yeah, but the
congrats.
game they were in Miami.
Yeah. So I remember like we were reading it the other day. Like a dude from technically he's from the Dominican Republic, but he spent so much time in Mexico. Like one of those things where it's like
Hmm.
they're like, oh, if you play for us, we'll grant you your citizenship. He
Oh,
played in this last game. They ended up losing, but I guess he contributed it.
I wonder if
And
that was the center fielder.
I have no, I don't know the name. I got to check the name again, but
Yeah, because I didn't watch the game, but I watched the Japan versus Mexico semifinals game. Like now, I wish I would have watched that game. Like that was a
mm,
very entertaining. Came down to the bottom of the ninth inning. Japan got a double to win the game. Like, and
yeah,
the guy that I think you're referring to, I think he played center field. So there was this play. Japan guy hits a straight shot to center field. He goes
mm,
back to the wall. Gets up on the wall, jumps up, snags it. Over the fence, pulls it down, and just stands and just like no emotion, just a straight pose. I was like that. That was gangster. Like,
yeah,
like that was a good one. But that's interesting that you know, hey, you've been here, you can play for us, and now you can be a citizen. He was like, whatever, man, I'm down.
right. So like I think that they said that aspect is pretty dope. Like that was like one that they did it because I think it's funny because like we were of course me and my friends were talking about it, and of course like the Mexicans so they was like oh yeah we finna cheat, and then like we were just playing Xbox, and so I was like what are you talking about, like you gonna cheat in Xbox? He's like oh no like Mexico's playing the World Classic tomorrow against Japan, they're probably gonna get like run through, so we're gonna do some fuck shit and we're gonna sign some dude like off the streets pretty much, he's gonna play for us. And I was like, oh really? And it's like, because the joke's like, oh yeah, like all the good Mexicans go to the Dominican Republic to go play baseball. Like they don't stay here. So it's like they were like, yeah, we produce baseball players, but we're like the A's. Like as soon as they get decent, you're gone.
Ship
Like
him off.
we ain't paying nobody. We don't got nothing. Like no, we have no good facility. Like this, all this different things. So I'm like, oh, that's funny. And so then to see that, I thought that was pretty cool. But like you said, like these are some games that I wish I would have watched. Like it's almost like the Olympics where like no matter what happens, you're gonna see good on good usually. Like at this stage in the rounds and stuff like that. Like
Right.
maybe the earlier rounds, but even then, I was hearing good things about earlier rounds. Like I was watching clips of like highlights. I didn't know who was playing. Like I didn't get that far into it, but it was just
Hmm.
like I was watching highlights of like a bunch of different like MLB players and non MLB players. Like oh, this guy is probably gonna sign blah blah blah. Or like this, like I
Right.
know someone did get signed. Like right after like an hour after a game or something like that. One of the first rounds, like an MLB like team like him was like, yeah, like right now, like so like the
Free
opportunity to
agent.
get in the showcase, and then like you said, it's world class, and like I think it's cool.
Yeah. There's some pretty good games. I think the final four was the U.S. and Cuba, and
Mm,
then Japan and Mexico. So
yeah,
U.S. is gonna play Japan in finals tomorrow, sometime this week maybe.
mm,
So should be interesting. I want to check it out. Because Japan has, Otani, who's
mm,
he's like a unicorn because he pitches and he hits like on a regular. That's kind of crazy.
yeah.
So
I think it's kind of funny. Like it's almost like almost has like a World Cup feel, where it's like or Olympic feel, or like yeah, because so we have like Team USA style of basketball. We understand that, but then we have other teams style of like other countries, other regions, how they play basketball. Whether it's like, oh, these like whether or not it's working or not, these dudes are like in a formation where their zone coverage is tight. Like
right.
their zone coverage is their mastery. That's what they do. Like, and it's like like it may be able to be broken, like because it's like there's flaws in every defense, but like as far as like their normal rotations and stuff like that, like it's on point. And I think baseball is like another one where like you just see different styles of play of baseball, and I think it's cool to see them like mash up into each other because, like you said, there's some styles that just could counter, 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 counter. And
Right.
that's like the United States. I feel like sometimes we have like these freak Otani type athletes, but then at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, we haven't had one like that before or in a minute. Like I don't know about old times and like Babe Ruth pitched and hit, but like that was in black and white and I never seen it. So it's like no one else has ever done it. Like so it's like
Right. Not
I
on not on that level. And
yeah
then it's funny because so
like
the two biggest you figure the two biggest baseball leagues in the world is MLB and Japan. So for them both to be in the finals, and it's the different types of baseball. You know what I mean?
yeah
So it's like this style, like in boxing, styles make fights. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it plays out in baseball.
yeah because they because I feel like a lot of things we're seeing now is like there's a lot of like foreign athletes coming over and like we could just say like Shohei for example like dude's throwing 100 miles per hour and hitting like 460 like that's pretty like it's pretty cool. Like it's interesting to see, and it's like I like to think it's funny. Like when he first came over and it was like he had a translator and stuff like that. He's like, oh yeah, like I wasn't the best one on my team, but I just had a good stretch, and the team saw me. But I don't think I was the best one on my team. Like there's other players over there who could do and pitch like his repertoire was bigger. And like I feel like in the World Cup, you're seeing like lefties throw like sliders that are cutting right,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever is the screws, the curve, whatever way, like it's going he's finishing this way and the ball's going that way. And I just that like to see the curve in the ball, like you're putting so much force and it's like 92, so it's like it's moving.
Right.
And I feel like baseball, like you said, it's already hard as it is. Like the two different styles, like should be interesting. Like
So on that point, so think of Otani. I hope I'm saying his name right. Um, Knowing what he does, do you think he gets enough
no,
props?
no.
So if he was I feel like if he was an American-born player, like they would be talking about him like he was the next, like you said, Babe Ruth or like the Jordan of baseball.
Yeah. They I feel like they talk about him like from what I hear, like when because I hear about him and stuff like that, they talk about him.
Mm-hmm.
But the only dilemma is like he plays for the Angels and a team that's like terrible as far as
Right.
like so he's not like just like anything like almost any other sport. You don't make it to the playoffs. You're like only so good. And then plus the fact that he pitches too, I've seen him get like almost like you said an already double standard or like, well, not only do you have to contribute on offense, you're technically pitching for your team as well. So like, if your win loss record, your ERA isn't hot, like maybe you should focus on one or the other. And like when we went through a slump
Right.
last year, like that's what they were saying. And that's when I was playing like the MLB baseball game, like just saying, just like how I got into it. I'm like, dude, Shohei, like now in video games, you can make a player who could play offense and defense. Well, like before, like you said, like maybe you could do that in college, but like once you get to the pros, like you're one. Like you pick
Right.
like NFL thing, like you could do all these things until like college, and then you got like pick one side or the other. So like I'm not sure if it's like sad. I'm not sure if it's like a talent on Angel's part or just like I mean he's also an incredible athlete, but like the fact that he's doing both, like yeah, he doesn't get the credit for it, but like he's coming up on his contract year.
Oh, so you mean he's gonna be a Yankee?
Yeah,
He's going to the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Red Sox. Who else spends money? Like somebody's gonna open up the bank and just go
so that's my thing.
here.
That's what I want because the next highest paid person in the league right now was like Mike Trout.
Mm-hmm.
He got like his like 600 million. That's like real guaranteed, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago. So for him, and like he's still probably like and on the same team, like if unhealthy, like he's still he's up there. Like he played in this last one and hit like a grand slam or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's still kind of that guy, but they still have like Shohei, like like incredible. I think so. Like
Right.
I think I don't know. Like I don't know how you say he's a. pitcher and a like a home run hitter. Like he
Mm-hmm.
get hit, and like his ERA is not terrible when he pitches. Like doing both. Like he goes through stretches where he kills both of them, which is like why he got the attention. But then he also
Right.
goes with slumps in one. And like when he's not hitting home runs, he's throwing like 110-mile-an-hour sliders though. So like when he slumps in one, he just it's like he's like, oh well, I'm just gonna pitch
Right.
like
Right.
until I figure this
But
out
you,
again.
I bet you think baseball is it's it's the only league where if you bat
Yeah,
what 35% for a career, like you're basically a Hall of Famer.
yeah,
So you
you're
know,
good.
like
Out of
what's a
three,
slump? Like
yeah,
four if you hit 4 out of 10 times, you literally are first ballot Hall of Famer. Which sounds crazy, but
because you're
baseball is
below
base
50%. So less than half the time you go out there, you're not gonna get on. You're not gonna hit nothing.
nothing.
Or if you hit something, you hit something right to somebody, or like you hit it like yeah.
As hard as you can. Like even when I was so I'm watching and even when I played, I was a right hander, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you have a tendency to pull the ball. So I'm like, man, everybody's gonna play you this way, but if I can learn how to like batters that are really good, like you learn how to hit the opposite direction. Sounds good, but somebody's up there throwing 95, 100 miles an hour, and the ball is like doing stuff.
Yeah,
That is an extremely hard sport. Like
yeah,
next to, uh, I don't know what's harder than hitting the baseball. Like hitting the baseball in sports is probably one of the hardest things you can do. I know I hear quarterbacks are difficult, but you have film, you have 10 other guys that are going to help out. Baseball is you and one other guy and a ball that is doing some stuff that is physically unnatural.
right, yeah. And then I think also like you said, like you have because like my favorite like growing up and stuff like that. My favorite pitcher was a Red Sox pitcher. Oh, like no, not all my favorite pitchers have had like interesting releases when it comes to baseball. Like Dontrell Willis was the first one. He threw his knee up there for no reason. Uh,
D
Dice,
Train,
yeah, Dice K for the Red Sox. He had this weird like flip of the
yeah.
leg thing, and I was like, what the heck? Like that was cool. And then like another one that I found like I can't pronounce his name, but like he had one where like he had a release where he looked like he when he released the ball he was looking down, and like I remember watching videos like and like the commentators would be like, yes, as you can see here, he still has the ball, but he's still looking down, and he releases it here, and his head eye level does not change, and he's throwing like and like they show where the catcher like sets presets, and the ball is
Mm-hmm.
like he's not even moving. Like whatever he sets it at, he like sees it and it's like okay there, and just boom, and like head down, just launches it with all his body. He had a short career; he only played like 6 years. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but like I remember like watching him. I think I watched him once he retired. I pretty much fell out of baseball because I was like, I didn't
Right.
find no one else to catch my thing. But like I think it was crazy. Like there's sometimes he would get hit and stuff like that, but like he was a closer, and I mean like 2 3 innings, I was like, this dude's just he retired with like a 2.0 ERA like as a closer. And I think that's pretty good. Like so I was like, this dude's crazy. So the
Yeah.
different releases is something that I like. And then I feel like Japan and overseas they just come with all different types of stuff. Like they do more of the sidearm. And so they do the sidearm plus a curve. And like you said, like
Mm-hmm.
the baseball is I don't know, like baseball is hard. Like baseball is really hard. Hitting the ball, like you said, is extremely hard. Because when you hear other athletes talk about it, it's just like it. I feel like people don't do it, and I feel like that's why like people don't ever. It's one thing that you could attempt like batting cages. If you get in there, people can't.
You can't.
People fear getting into the batting cage. Not only
Right.
the idea of what's going on too, because then I'd like to think I'm like, okay, so this is a pitcher up there. There's a dude who's throwing like 99 miles per hour a baseball like right in front of my face. Like
Right.
ideally right in front of my face, and I'm like, I have to like I'm the smallest way possible so he can't hit me, hopefully. I'm not standing like broadly so he can hit me in the chest or nothing like that. But like the plate and the baseball diamond is not as big as you think. Is also I feel like as well. It's
It's a
like
small area.
you're like what in the world. So then like if I'm the pitcher, I'm like I gotta throw the ball right over. I gotta throw the ball right over the thing because I have no room because the ball's only this wide and the plate's only that wide. Like I gotta throw it. So
Right
it's
there. It's how even in a pitching machine, you basically know where the ball is gonna go every time. You drop it in, it's gonna hit the same spot. Pop, pop. Cool. Even if you're in a batting cage and you go into one that's throwing
60.
60, right? I was gonna say 70 because I'm like the 30, 40. You're like, oh, I can tee off on these, but once you get past like 50, it's a game changer. So now some some's coming at you 60 miles an hour, hitting the same spot, you can't hit it. Now add in somebody who can throw a slider, a curve, uh, all kind of different variations of the pitch. They release it from different angles, so that is an extreme. And you have to have some like hmm,
Yep.
some cheese because again, the ball comes in close. Hey, you're too close to the plate. I'm gonna back you off. So the accuracy of them dudes to even be able to back you off the plate. Oh man,
Like it's
I
great.
threw rocks. Look, so I grew up where I grew up as a kid. We didn't play have snowball fights. We had rock fights. Like we literally used to throw rocks at each other. Which, as I say this now, sounds dumb. I almost had an eye taken out in a rock fight, and I think we were pretty accurate with rocks, right? So, but we weren't throwing 60, 70 miles an hour. We might have topped out at 20, 25.
Mhm.
So, again, man, baseball it's a it's a great game,
Yeah,
but really hard.
it's really hard. Like it's like it's sometimes it's difficult to watch because with other sports like the mental chess match of every of baseball. Like it's such a between the pitcher, the catcher, and the batter. You get your hand size, and then if you get someone on base, like the chess matches that baseball like creates, it's really interesting to play because like it really feels like the game of chess because it's like such a like you said like at best you're gonna hit the ball 3 out of 10 times that you go up there. Like at best, like one of the better case scenarios, you get walked because like they have to like you have the pitcher has to hit a small target. Like
Hmm.
it's not like it's easy to hit that target 4 times, like said accurately, without having a hitter be able to hit it. So it's like, oh, I gotta throw it fast enough so that he misses it, or put some curve on it so that like it affects his swing, or like you gotta do all these things. And I feel like the chess match of baseball, like, it's fun to be a part of, but like sometimes it's difficult to watch on TV. I can say that, but
Which is why I think like the experience of the game, like physically going to a baseball game, is a lot better than watching on TV because I think, well, I know the team I used to follow. Um, there's a lot of stuff going on at a baseball game.
yeah,
Outside of eating, I feel like they have a lot of stuff going on between innings, during innings. Um, it's more showmanship, not necessarily the game on the field. Like if you're, I know a guy told me once, he was like, get a scorecard and track the game, learn how to fill out the scorecard so it makes the game a little bit more interesting to follow. But again, there's a lot of other stuff to me at baseball games that go on versus you go to an NFL game, it's you just watching the game. Like
yeah,
it's there's not a lot of distractions around, things going on. Like it is literally just you got to watch this game. Whereas baseball, I think, does a because the game is played the way it is, like they do a little bit better of having stuff around it. Now on TV, you just have to love your team and suck it up.
right,
But
yeah.
at the game, it's definitely a little to me a little fun.
I agree with that. because like you said, like the entertainment factor that goes into baseball, the stadium wise, like I feel like this is pretty good. It's always like entertaining, fun. Like even if the game, like I said, even if the game, the baseball game itself on the field isn't like a high scoring game or entertainment or something like that, like or like cool plays happening, it could be like routine plays the whole time, but like the stadium itself, the atmosphere, like the music, the crowd, what they're doing, like interactions with the crowd to get people like entertained and stuff like that. All those different things are pretty.
Hmm.
Like the song, the 7 inning stretch thing. I feel like that's something that I always like. Oh, we're doing this, but like I always stand up. Like
Right.
I never like sat it out, even though I would complain about it in the most. Like, why do they still do this? And like I would stand up and like stretch, think about going to the concession stands, all these different things as I complain about the
Doing it.
of it. So it's like I always think about that because that's something I'm like, I'm not gonna do it next time. Like, that's stupid. Like I'm done past that. I'm past like I'm gonna just sit it down and like chill. But it's like every time I stand up at least. So it's like I think that's cool. Uh, so yeah, like going to the games would be better. And like I said, they're in Miami right now. I think that's a good stadium to have it in. Uh,
Yeah.
I think it's yeah, I think it's a great stadium to have it. I mean, it's new. Like I know they made some changes and stuff like that since they built it, but like that's a entertaining stadium. Like it's a lot of entertainment. In fact, they have a lot of stuff they could do with that stadium.
Yeah.
It's
All
entertainment.
good seats. Like there really no bad seats in the building. Like I feel like yeah, that's. I mean, I haven't been to a lot of baseball stadiums, but for what they did, that's the one thing I give the Marlins credit for. Like they built the stadium's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Like to watch a game.
Yeah,
Like that part I give them credit for.
yeah. I like this.
But go ahead.
No, like I said, I like the stadium. Like it was like it's a good stadium. And like I said, with the what you like to know what's going on at the baseball stadium, like in within the stadium. Like I feel like I mean I haven't been to a lot of stadiums too, but like as far as baseball, that's one I can think of off the top of my head. But like yeah, that one would be fun. Like World Cup wise, like that would be fun. Like there's more
Yeah.
historic ones, but that one's more fun. Yeah,
Yeah, and this time of year, like I almost wish I was back home now because I can imagine like you have all the countries in town, and so it's like when the World Cup comes around. Like the World Cup is pretty cool too because that's when you get to see people from different countries, kind of represent, which is always to me, which is a part of the cool factor.
yeah. Because everybody like so even like World Cup like because of favors for soccer and stuff like that. Like as much as I don't care, like if someone asks me like, oh yeah, Team USA, like and like I had no connection, don't know anybody, don't won't know anybody. Like I'm super like said, my kids would play soccer, but like I don't know nothing. Just like
Right?
for sure, like Team USA. If I saw someone else, I'd be like, who's that? Oh, them. So it's like
Yeah.
even though they probably beat us 6-0, but like like boo, you guys. Like
Right.
so I feel like we're
Well,
going to. I want to go to a soccer World Cup game, like or just one of the Premier League soccer games.
hmm
I feel like soccer games, like I see people like the flares, fireworks, like the whole like that seems like a total experience, and like I feel like soccer's a bit more entertaining. I feel like to me, but at the same time, if a game does finish 0-0, I feel like the crowd is gonna make it like if they get
right.
anywhere near, it's gonna be crazy. Like flares and fireworks out the wazoo. Like whether they get half past half field or not, like I feel like anything, the crowd looks pretty fun. So that's on my
Right.
bucket list for sure because that seems fun.
Thanks. Well, to like do a total 180 about other countries, I see North Korea is out here lobbing missiles into the ocean. Um, I think that is it's entertaining to me. I'm gonna say it this way. Um, so as I'm reading that story, it's like, hey, the U.S. and South Korea is getting ready to do some drills, right? I think Japan's in it too. So hours before they start the drill, North Korea goes, oh, let's just shoot a ballistic missile out in the ocean in that direction that's gonna land off the coast, you know. But we're just gonna shoot it just to say, hey, we over here. I think y'all should stop having these trainings because I think y'all rehearsing, attacking us.
Mm.
So it's it's a it's a funny thing, and I'm gonna say this: I am not mad at North Korea.
And North Korea.
This is why I can't be mad. So imagine if Mexico decided, hey, we want to do a military drill, right here in the border by Texas, for whatever reason. It's their land; they can do what they want to do, and they decide they want to bring all their military down and practice some drill like if the U.S. was going to invade. How can you can't really be mad? Why? Because the U.S. does it right now. Like they have a whole base in Fort Irwin, California. It's the desert, and
Mm.
they play war games out there all the time. So, like, if I'm Mexico, I'm like, yo, what are y'all saying? Like, are y'all saying y'all gonna roll on us? Like, countries can do whatever they want to do. Like, we do it. We can't be mad at somebody else for doing the exact same thing. It's very hypocritical.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's funny, and like, how can you can't get mad at somebody if you do it? It's
Yeah.
like the pot calling the kettle black.
Yeah. Like I don't have. I think it's funny. I just feel like it's just like you said. Like it's not. I'm not mad. I just think it's funny how people are reacting to it because they, of course, like Twitter has some funny reactions to it. But my thing is like, what's the point? Like I don't understand the point either. Like I don't know. Like my thing is like, yeah, I know that's what countries do. Like everybody has to like, I have a stick. Everyone see my stick and it's like, yeah, bro, we know you got a stick. And it's like, bro, eventually I'm gonna hit one of you guys with this stick. And it's like, who, me? And it was like, I'm just saying, like, I have a stick. I built this stick for a reason. And every country's like, I'm gonna get a stick. And like everyone's with sticks and like it's just like the same. I don't know, like it's so weird. Like I don't know, it's weird. Because like you said, I feel like countries that don't like for North Korea to be talking about the US, I feel like my thing is like, why the hell are we way over there? Like,
Nobody knows.
like that's so far away. Like that's my issue. It's not even like it's if it was Mexico, like that's one thing. It's like, all right, bro, like I said, we'll play war games like in the desert in Mexico, where because like you will say it's like, oh, we're worried about like the drug cartel, like getting stuff in and out, blah blah blah. Blah. But at the same time, like Mexico police, respectfully, and drug cartel one and the same, and sometimes one wins and sometimes the other doesn't. Like they're like 50-50 at
So,
this point.
right, which is again the crazy part because just like the news over here will say, hey, the drug cartels and the police are the same, but in the U.S. it's
You know?
the same. Like the CIA is the biggest drug dealers like in the world. So how can we sit there and say, hey, you're smuggling drugs over here? Like, yeah, we smuggling drugs because y'all won't just let us bring them. Like y'all putting all these taxes on them. So just like anybody on earth scenario, so rewind it. Like the war on drugs is really dumb, right? So because it doesn't really exist, like it's something somebody made up. Like I saw it with my own eyeballs. Like I grew up in South Florida in the 70s and the 80s, and then all of a sudden, people that looked like me were selling crack. But we didn't go to Colombia, Mexico to get the cocaine to make from somebody. Like somebody was giving it to the people so we can sell it. And I'm like, so now y'all mad that people are selling it? Like, it really don't make sense. Like, it's real hypocritical. So, uh, all of it's the same. The drug war, like you said, everybody want to stick. You got. It's like you're playing a basketball game and North Korea's like, hey, we want to play this. Like, yeah, but you can't play because you ain't got the right kind of shorts on. And these
Right.
shorts got a depleted uranium. So they go, hell, I'm gonna get me some depleted uranium and make me some shorts. Like, hey, put me in. You're
Right.
like,
too short now. Now, if you were taller, I'll put you in. So what do? They're like, so all right, I'm gonna go get taller, then I'm gonna come back because now I can my shorts are longer, right, or whatever. I done grew 6 inches. Can I play now? I'm almost the same height as you. Yeah, but now you ain't got enough players on your team. You know, we got a bunch of players. It's
Yeah.
it's all kind of funny when it comes to that. I think.
Yeah. And like you said, like right there, like that when you explain like that, like I said, when you if you could see, like you said, if you could like translate everything from what like is really happening, like you said, that's what pretty much what it is. It's like they're like, hey bro, like I want to be part of like whatever this bigger circle is that we got that you guys do over there, you countries. I'm a country, I want to be part of that. And it's like you ain't got nukes, so you can we'll just like move. No. And he's like, I'll go make a nuke. I made a nuke. Now it's like, let me in. And they're like, no. Like, why would you let you in? He's like, I got a nuke now, run this. That's what you said. And it was like, you can't come in. He's like, I'm gonna nuke you then. like, oh, your nukes don't work. Your nukes are not as good as ours. He's like, I'll test it on you if you want. Like, you want to see? Like, don't disrespect my country, dude. Like, come on, like, let me in. Like, why you make this such a big deal? And it's like I'm a like all these different things. Like fine, like you're not friends with them. You don't play with them. I'm gonna go. We're gonna go be friends. Like come on, you want to be on my team then since they don't want to play with us? Like because it's us and them, and it's like all of these different countries are just. I think it's so funny. Like the taxes, like other than like Russia and Ukraine, I'm not sure what's going on over there honestly anymore because I kind of fell out of the loop of that. But like everybody else, I feel like it's just like a lot of hearsay talking back and forth for like some weird like different cliques and clubs and like high. I feel like that's a lot of things. Like I feel like there's a lot of high school politics between like a little high school relationships like excelled and exploded like continued because it's like petty things, small things like you said, hypocritical things. Like one person says one thing and then says that we don't do it, and then like you said like we have the most death tolls out of every country, almost every out there. Like we probably killed more than anybody else, but like we're gonna like our side is like we're in the light, like we're the good guys, and it's like I get it, but it's like it's such a funny thing. Like it's such a funny thing. Like
It it doesn't make sense, but that was a good way to put it. It's like a bunch of high school kids out there, and everybody's like positioning to be the most popular guy, and I am
mhm,
in my clique. But on the really, I'm over here talking to you, going, yeah, if you ever get this though, I'll bring you in because I want to eat steak too,
mhm,
or it's maybe it's like D1 schools, D2 and D3, like everybody's in college. It's all the same. You just have more stuff, more stuff. I'm like a not even a D3 school. I'm some college like boom boom college over here. You
mhm,
know, my football field has potholes. I'm like, all I want is some AstroTurf, man. Can a
mhm,
brother get AstroTurf? They're like, nah, you can't get AstroTurf. So I got to do some illegal stuff to get some some
mhm.
AstroTurf, just to be like, I'm in the game now. They're like, nah, you got a different kind of turf.
Mhm.
And we have so much money that we just throw it away, just
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
It really is. So, but I have no idea how to fix it because the system is what it is. Like all you can do is do the best you can with you and yourself and your people, and kind of like go with it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's better.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know. They have
That's
a
all.
solution. But I feel like no, like I said, no one. Yeah, I feel like that's the thing. Like, also growing up, like you see, like everyone says the same things as far as like what they're gonna do to make things better, but like those things never get done and they never get better. They're like, oh, like I'm gonna lower taxes and we're not gonna spend as much money on military and we're not gonna do this and we're gonna fix the roads. We're gonna bring jobs in, and then like I feel like since I've been able to vote, that's the same things we've been hearing this whole time. And they threw in COVID this time just to spice things up. And so then now, like, it's gonna be the same things. Like, oh, we're gonna get job backs. We're not gonna spend anything on military. Like, it's gonna like, I feel like the same repeated things keep getting repeated in like every 4 or 8 years, and like it's like nothing's really happening.
Like even the dude that they want to put in jail, Trump now.
Yeah.
Somebody, I think it was a clip on Twitter I saw where they showed Trump making a statement about college, the whole student loan thing, right? So Trump made this whole statement about student loan back whenever. But then when the student loan thing happened, like literally Biden, they dubbed him over. They said the exact same thing. When Trump said it, it wasn't in place. When Biden said it, he just happened to be the president. But it was the same thing. Like it's like somebody wrote a speech, Trump read it, and then student loan thing didn't happen. So Biden's in office, they're like, all right, we're gonna do it. So he read verbatim the same like press release. And everybody's like, hi. I'm like, wait a minute, but in theory, the dude who you want to lock up right now said the same thing like years ago. So what is the difference? Like, could somebody tell me what's the difference? Because I think all of y'all are the same. Like,
yeah. And then another funny thing, like about, I think it's the same. Like, did you see what was it? Oh, Trump's wife's speech versus like Obama's wife's speech that they gave like that one time where it was like the same speech.
Yeah.
Like another situation like that where it's like I didn't see like this last press release whatever, but like when I saw that and I was like, I feel like it's like you said, like it's not, they don't even care to switch or change things anymore. Like they're just gonna release the same thing. I feel like that's why I said they keep doing the same thing over and over again, and they're gonna keep saying the same thing and hope it sticks every time, or like it like how it does or whatever like that. Because he said like that was the same speech, and I was like, wait, how come no one's like saying nothing that she did the same speech? Like no one really, because no one cared. Like it's just
nobody cares. It just depends on who says it and what side you're on, right? Everybody's like, I'm on this side or I'm on this side. So if somebody on my side says it, yay. But if somebody says it on the other side, I'm gonna go boo. It's like teams. They just cheering and booing, but you don't really know what the hell you're cheering and booing for. You're really not paying attention. You go, hey, you're on the bad side. So I gotta get you. Pause here.
yeah.
Yeah, hold on for 1 second. Let me give me this name.
No problem. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on with that Trump stuff. So Trump and everybody else out here. We gotta see this over here. Shout out to my boy Jaren Gainer out here. I would play one of his musics. Don't wanna put him out there if he's not copyrighted, nothing like that. But I got you, boy. But yeah, let's see. What's next we could talk about? I'm probably gonna make fun of him. He's a Tampa Bay fan, and they got Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah. Ooh, can I do it over here? Let me try it. But yeah, I just think it's kind of like you said. It's all kind of funny.
But I'm really interested to see if they lock him up though. Or I mean, he ain't going to jail, but I don't follow politics that much. But you know, kind of interesting to see like as a ex-president who I feel like what they're gonna indict him for is very petty. Like, so they want to indict him because his lawyer paid off a girl when he was pregnant. And then he gave his lawyer a retainer, pay his lawyer back for like the 19 grand that they gave the lady to not talk during his campaign. So the laws in New York says you can't take money to use it like this. So that is what they essentially want to put him in prison for, or jail, or indict him, or whatever you call it. And I'm like, out of all the things that you guys can lie any ex-president for, go and pick that.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
just
care what president it is. I can just start going back. I can indict Bush for a bunch of crap. I can indict Clinton for a bunch of crap that they really actually did is like 10 times worse than
yeah.
that. It really makes no sense.
Like I said, I think history repeats itself. I think it's like a another like. So tell me this: what happened after like the Monica Lewinsky situation? Like, like what happened after that? As far
Uh,
as like, I feel like that's what they're trying to do right now. As far as they're trying to keep, they have like a president with a sex scandal thing, but like this one's a little different. And then like whatever happened after that, that's gonna be the new. That's what's happening next. I gotta look into that and see how things went out, see who won, and see if it's just like gonna repeat after that. Because that'd be
Mon-
interesting.
Monica Lewinsky's is worse because, in theory, Trump's thing happened in 2006 when he wasn't the president. So this was a lady that was. This happened before he ran for president or anything, and she just decided, hey, he's running for the president. I'm gonna say something. Versus Clinton, this was in the White House, like, you know. So which is worse? And
But
then
yeah, never mind. They were pretty upset about that, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
because I said I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Like he was adamant that he did. Now, what is your definition of sexual relations? Is totally up to you because she came out with a dress. Like I don't know who keeps a dress. That I got some stuff on my dress. I'm gonna keep this
Mm-hmm.
in the here in the cut. So one day I'm gonna be able to pull it out and look at it and say, "Oh, look at this stain. This is from the president." Like that don't make no sense.
Yeah.
But you know, which is worse?
Uh, like I said, I feel like it's another weird. Like if they put him in jail for it, I feel like then I don't know. I don't know. I think it's like you said. It's like out of everything you're gonna pick, I feel like they could have did some real. Like they could have did some real. They could actually put him in jail. Like they could actually lock them up if they wanted to.
Right.
So I just feel like to do this is weird.
Or history repeats itself. We can go back further than that. JFK had Marilyn Monroe. So, you
Mhm.
know, there's that. Like we kind of forget about that. Like this chick singing to him, like with his wife sitting right next to him.
Mhm.
Basically, you know, she did her version of a lap dance in the '60s was happening like right there, so everybody can see it. And
Yeah.
if you know had an affair with the lady, so again, it's always the same stuff. No, nothing ever changed. It's you know, like I said, history repeats itself, goes on and on and on and on. In that sector, you know, it just the people aren't paying attention, and we just like gossip and mess and noise. Like it really don't have anything to do with anything.
Yeah, you're right.
I wouldn't even tell anybody like they're humans. They mess up. Like that's all. If they're married, I leave it up to their spouse. If their spouse want to stay with them or leave them or forgive them, like that's all you can do.
Right. But like you said, I think like fake like for example, like I'll say like fake entertainment or fake news, not fake yeah, I call it okay, don't want to put that out there, but like fake news as far as like when you say like when I just see like headlines of stuff that one, I don't care about, or two, may or may not be even true. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm like, what is that? Like I feel like nowadays instead of like keeping out and reading, I feel like now I'm just seeing like those clips of those headlines and just like kind of keep scrolling because when I click on it, it's just then filled with a bunch of like borderline drama or like drama like oh like ex girlfriend of so and so actor is now dating like so and so and it was like that's like breaking news like that's like talked about in like I just feel like they just do like there's different versions of that in every different avenue. Like they do it with politics too. It's like every once in a while they'll show a clip of like they'll bring up like they'll show a clip of like something from like one presidency and they'll show it for like a little bit, but like this is happening, blah blah blah. We should like did like a 60-minute episode on it or something like that. It'd be like a weird topic where like if you watch it, it's like, oh, this is something like the one or like was already addressed or like we found out wasn't true, but like it's like late and wrong to the party, and it's always like a weird thing. But I don't know. Trying to figure that out right now. It's like those weird like clickbait stuff.
Because I mean, that's society has turned into that. It's not even about. Uh, it's about what gets likes
Yeah.
more than anything else. Like, what can I do to get people to like it? But at the end of the day, whoever you're getting to like it or whatever, you're just driving traffic. Like I would to drive traffic to critical critics. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like if people like and subscribe, you get more attention, and then when you get more attention, there's a financial benefit sometimes to the attention.
Mm-hmm.
People have objectives, or if I want to put out a certain narrative, then I need to use this particular person to push my narrative out to the people.
Sure.
I mean, that's what it's about. The social media and the internet has just made it easy, because before, it was about flyers and you had to do newspaper ads and all this other stuff. So now it's like right in your face
Yeah.
instantly,
That is
which
true.
is a good thing.
That is true. Yeah.
And I wish I had this a longer time back. That would have been really cool. Then again, I don't know, because the whole political correct thing, I think I'm struggling with. Not that I'm not. I think it would be a struggle for me back then.
Yeah.
I think,
Oh, I mean, I feel like yeah, but like I feel like things were different. Like I would say like this. Like I agree with you. Like there's a lot of things like you said. Like before, like say like if you're a DJ, I had to put my flyers out there, my DJ flyers. That's like the last bit that I saw was like DJ flyers. Like, oh, I'm a DJ. Put my flyers out there, get my attention, get my name out there, get my blah blah blah. Let people see me before like social media. And I like I said now my issue. I think now my issue is that one. It's funny. I was like almost everyone has a platform, so everyone's talking. And for some reason, I believe that like social media has a weird thing where like because you're popular, you're allowed to your opinion matters over someone who actually studies or knows what they're talking about. Is what it's like if you're like it's fake media. Like you could be like a TikToker, a famous or celebrity TikToker. You have like 1,000 followers, and if you say something about a brand, all your TikTok followers will go like hate or like never use that brand or like whatever the case may be for that situation. It's like, oh, don't go to the don't use I don't know, whatever. Like I don't know. I'm trying to think of something. Don't use this brand. Like shop at this brand instead because this brand has more deals and that's what I was wearing. If you guys like what I wear, blah 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 blah. So then now you have like an influx of like short term or long term, which is good or bad, like influx of either like popularity or hatred towards a business because someone who I feel like is not credible or could be credible said something online and they're like that swayed the thing. So it's like yeah, I think it's cool in some aspects because like you said when like you hear good stories about social media like a good GoFundMe or like this person like blew up and like he comes from like humble beginnings or she comes from humble beginnings like isn't in it for the money or the cloud or like isn't weird about it like I feel like genuine with it it's like oh good for you like I'm proud I'm glad you're able to have like this opportunity for you to express your story tell your story but then when you have people like I don't know when you have like a whole like social media manager and you're just like a social media person and you don't have like another genre like you're not like like you're not like an actor with like a social media presence like oh yeah
Mhm.
like I have something to do other than social media like I'm not a sports person or like like even politician, like whatever, like I have something I'm supposed to be doing other than just this.
Right.
Like if you're not like if you're just doing you're just spreading your thoughts, I feel like plus and minus, I'm proud that you're able to get your thoughts to so many people, but at the same time, like those people who are listening to you, I'm like, see, it's a plus minus because it's like it's not the people's fault who's spreading the stuff. I feel like it's also on to the people who are listening to it, and I feel like now culturally we're like so accustomed to just believing high
Whatever.
follower count people opinion person, like, and that holds more weight, more stature than like I don't know. I actually know what you're talking about, in my opinion, or whatever. Like,
Yeah, because who? It's like who do you don't know who to believe. So like when I was growing up, it was always you would watch the so like my grandparents and parents like they would watch the news. It's like oh I'm gonna watch the local news because I'm gonna watch this guy, and whatever they tell you, it's like so this is all your streams are coming from one place or two, or you grab the newspaper and you just read the newspaper. But again, it's really somebody's opinion or that you're going on. Like I don't know if they're telling the truth or not, but I'm assuming because you print it, it's the truth. Um, and now with social media or even with the internet, you find out most of the stuff that they were printing even then wasn't the truth. Like they were just somebody was telling you what they thought or what they felt, and that's all you had to go on. Like, like even with school, there's an interesting one. So, what's his name? Darwin. Do they teach? Do they still teach Darwin in
oh,
school?
Darwinism.
Yes.
I was able to go to many different. I went to a public school and private school, so like I was taught it. I don't recall what point or what grade I was taught it in,
Right.
or like
So
I understand it. I'm aware of it in a sense.
right. So like Darwinism, like there is no way on earth Darwinism should be taught in any institution of higher learning. Elementary, middle school, high school. I mean, it literally should not be. Not on, not anywhere that I would really want to go and learn something.
Mhm.
Like, not that he didn't have some, when it comes to evolution, like of plants and animals, he
Mhm.
did a lot of research on there. Like, I can appreciate some of the stuff he did when it comes to that. But outside of that, like everything else that he says is absolutely 100% like not something I would follow just based on like who he was, what he believed, because everything now is coming from a different place. So like so yeah, but we still teach that in school. And I remember learning that. And then when I actually it was this whatever his book is, I can't even think of the name right now, but whatever this book was called, and I saw the entire title. I was like, "What? Like this? What? Like this was the book? Like I thought I liked this dude until I saw the title of the book, and then I kind of went back and saw it in a different light, and I was like, oh man, come on, you can't be serious." But you
Mhm.
know, it's kind
Yeah,
of what it is.
yeah. I feel like yeah. I think that goes same thing. Like I feel like over here too. Like you always, yeah. It's a mixture. It's a mixture. I think the same thing. Like there's different things that I feel like you see in different lights once you understand it or once you realize it. For like a lot of different things, it was like oh, like you said, just like and every different thing, whether it's social media, like something you read in a book at one point, and then you read in like a different book at a different point, like telling a different story, or like you said, or showing the whole picture and stuff like that. Because I mean, what they teach in school is like a smaller version of this, and then like you said, there's real longer books and chapters that you can read if you really want to get into it. Like you said, the little snippets of the book that are in the book are just small portions of it. Like when I found that, like once like reading that stuff, like I was like, oh, like that book that I read in, or like yeah, so those few chapters that I read in class were like 2 pages of like someone's like philosophy or something like that. So like, oh, there's more like he goes like this far and deep into it, and so it's like, oh, like read up on certain ideologies and stuff like that. Like when I did that, like when I was a little bit younger age, like I was like, oh, like there was like I feel like a lot of pretenses that I followed for certain people, but once you got deep into like their true, like they said that like their true intentions, their true ideals of where their background come, where their ideals and progression and like their state of mind comes from, then it's like, oh, like I don't really think I want to be part of this kind of situation. Like this is not what I thought this was gonna be. Like when I was reading on it, like maybe in school or something like that, or like a quick book. So yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. And then before we get out, I did see in Sacramento, y'all have an alien invasion or something? It
The
was,
the meteor or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it sadly. I saw that notification like super late at night or like yeah later at night. Um, I don't know. Like I didn't see it. Of course, like I said, but one thing is cool about this new age of like social media and stuff like that. I was able to see it like on Snapchats and Instagram stories and stuff like that. Um, but at the same time, like because I didn't see with my own eyes, I don't know. Like I don't know. I haven't really heard enough about it. But then Sacramento's not the type. I feel like it's not really the place to for it to go like that. Like if it was really like that, it would have been like a. I feel like I would just hear about it more. But at the same time, I would say that the pictures that I saw, like I don't know about aliens, but I think meteors.
Yeah,
I would,
it's probably a meteor. I mean, I was joking when I said aliens, but like,
yeah,
and I've
we
seen
just we were. I was seeing different clips about it, and people were
percent
saying that it was people were saying that it was
satellite fell, like you
or no,
said,
like splitting off and like how it was splitting off in different videos that I saw, and then like when I was looking at some of the videos, like I mean, as far as like there's some of the videos that I saw were also videos from other places. So like if it wasn't like on a Snapchat, like someone's personal thing, like I saw like Sacramento thing, and then like under the comments I saw it was like blah blah, blah they messed up. Like go to this post to see the actual video. This post is actually from like 2000 whatever, and it was like oh that's not
right
even the right video, but like Sacramento whatever posted it. So it's like when I first looked into it, that's like one of the first things I saw, and I was like, oh, I'll just wait until I hear more about it, and then haven't heard anything else about it. But
now. Yeah, because
I
I've
did,
seen some pretty cool meteor showers before. I saw
yeah,
uh, satellites, fall, so you kind of catch those. I saw that in Tallahassee once. That was, you know, pretty crazy.
mm,
So from time to time, it's all kind of crap falls out of the sky. I just wish the sky wasn't so polluted and you can see
yeah,
more of it because I mean when I grew up there used to be a stretch when we used to drive from Fort from like Fort Lauderdale over to Naples and we were in like the middle of the Everglades.
mm,
You can see like everything.
yeah,
I love driving at night. I would just stick my head up and go. It's like a movie. Like you
yeah,
just see stuff. And in
mm,
Kansas it was the same thing. Like they would have like meteor showers. And you just sit up there and watch and it was like, oh, this is kinda it's kinda cool.
yeah. Like I said, that's what when I saw it, that's the first thing I thought about. I was like, I want to go camping because like camping's the only time you're able to see those opportunities. And like I said, I have videos on my phone that look like those videos that I saw, and I was like, man, like I remember when I first saw that, like I was seeing it, I was like, no way, like you said, it lasted. The one that I saw, because I saw like a shooting star before, and like that's the thing. I'm like, oh, like you said, like something like it's so quick, and it's not something you can like. It's hard to process. Like you can't like ask anybody else if they weren't like looking at that. Like if they weren't looking where you were looking, you won't. You like they didn't see it. Like type of thing. So it's like the first time I was able to confirm with someone else. Someone else saw it. They're like, "Oh, did you see it?" I was like, "Wait, you saw?" Like they're like, "Oh, shooting star." I was like, "Okay, so that's a shooting star." And the first time, like I said, I saw like a meteor shower. I'm like, "Oh, that was something I was really cool because like you said, it wasn't like it was coming towards us in a sense, like coming this way. So it was like it
Mm-hmm.
lasted about 5 seconds, and I was like, wow, like or like 10 seconds. I was like, wow, like you can see it, like it's of course super far away, but you can see it. It's really incredible, and like, or you could just see so much of the stars, or like the moon, like a full moon. Tell me a full moon, like the last full moon that we had. I was gonna call you because I don't know what I don't know what I was gonna tell you, but I was gonna call you. I was like, this thing is huge, like. this thing is coming and falling right now, and like I don't know how big is it for you, but like I'm telling you, like this thing is the biggest I've seen it in a long, long, long time. And like I don't like it was the way I was driving home. It was like nothing, it was just the moon, and I was like, it has. I wonder if it's close. Like I don't understand it. But I was like, why is it so close right now? Like I wonder if you can see it. Or it's the same. Because then I was like, boom, if you can see it, in theory, you should be able to see the same angle of the moon I'm seeing because it's way the hell over there.
Right.
It's like you're 2,000 miles this way, but like it's the moon, so it's like it's still right there. Like you can see what I'm seeing. Like, is it this biggest? Is it bigger today than it was yesterday for you? Because today it was huge, and I was like, it was like a movie type thing. Like you said, I was like looking, I was like, oh snap! Like it's a full moon, but like it's up there.
Yeah, they so I don't know. So talking about the moon, that's gonna make me change the other subject because I'm still
Ah, you're cutting out a little bit. Oh, he got excited. You can start talking about the moon. Start cutting out a little bit. But I think I know what you're gonna say. Then to go down this tangent about you don't think the moon is real or something. I think you got to go to one of those Virgin America things where they take you up into space so you can see it. I mean, I want to do it too, but you got to do it so you can stop, so you can start believing it in the distance and stuff like that. We got to do some science experiments together. Oh, there we go.
I'm not. Oh, yeah. I was trying to figure. So if I can see the moon all day long, are you telling me that there's somebody on the other side of the planet that can't see the moon? Because like, how can they see it? Like, because if I look at a globe and I put the moon where I can see it, like you can't see it when I can see it. And I saw it from the time I woke up in the morning to the time I went to bed at night. Do we have more than one moon?
No.
So how come I can see it like all day? Like, do you never
Okay,
not see the moon?
what is the where on? I gotta figure out where on Earth is the opposite of like the United States. We gotta find like a centrally located spot where there's total opposite of the United
Australia,
States. Australia.
uh, Australia, Asia.
Now, because there are some
Uh,
places that get dark though. There's some places where the sun does not set.
this is true.
There's like, and it's like a decent like I want to say 500-mile radius like from the top down. Like there's a lot of area that never the sun never sets. So like
But
there's that
so
aspect.
I've seen like what do you call them? Simulations where people have shown how it moves that shows me why, like in the northern hemisphere, they get sun pretty much 24/7. It doesn't happen in the southern hemisphere. It's really only in the northern hemisphere, right?
Right.
So it's only in the northern hemisphere where that phenomenon occurs. You know, where it's basically Alaska. You know, they have light 24 hours. Like it doesn't get dark. And when it is night, like it looks like the daytime. So, but it's in the northern hemisphere, and I've seen models that show why that is possible. But that model that shows why that's possible is not a globe. So again, um, I, that is it's a, it's a thing. It's a thing I can't. It's a thing that it won't go away in my head. Like no matter what happens, I wake up and I look up. I'm telling you, I have like 3 apps on my phone where I like to do it at night because there's certain constellations that
Right.
I like to check out. Especially since I'm considering relocating to an island at some point. Like I'm just curious on like how people navigate it and you know like I learned that in the military, like if you're out at night and you need to get from point A to point B, sometimes you got to use the stars. You know, that's how people navigated a long time ago, like before we had maps and GPS and all these types of things. So, you know,
Yeah.
I have some understanding of it, and that's why I like to look up at the sky now because I don't want to lose it. Like I don't
Right.
want to lose that because it could be very important for for,
The,
for later in life.
they keep it in the genes.
Yeah.
But like you said, like I'm interested in it. Like I want to like the Northern Lights is something I want to see. I do want to experience one of those 24-hour day things. I feel like that would be kind of interesting. And then like you said, like I don't know. I just want to. I want to go to like the opposite of from where the angles that I can see the moon from, and see if the angle or what I'm looking at is any different.
It's not.
Because the moon doesn't rotate.
I know. So I've been to the Middle East and I've been to Germany. And I don't care where I'm at. Exactly. Like
Yeah, but the moon doesn't rotate. I know about that now. I know that one now.
right. So it's forward space. You know what I mean? So we always see everybody sees
The same moon.
same moon. Like, you can no matter what country you're in, if you take a picture of the moon and that is full, it's gonna look exactly the same no matter where you are. So it doesn't rotate like that. I mean, the sun doesn't rotate either. You can't see the sun. It's the same.
And then there's some cool simulations I think I could send you. I always took my little astronomy class, but we're gonna find them. But like, I think there's only one moon, but like I don't know. I just feel like to me, I feel like the moon drastically changes its distance from the Earth more than I feel like people talk about. Because I feel like the size thing always gets me. I know it's like light and angles and like if it's a half moon, full moon, crescent moon, all that stuff like that. But like, I just always have questions about it though. I always have questions about it. But what was that? Oh. Oops. No. I think not yet. Let's see. No, can't hear you yet. But no. Great, can hear you. No, can hear you. Let me see. Oh, you can hear me? Oh, okay, yeah, I can hear you. Oh, let me see. Says if you're talking. Hello? Oh, no. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm living it. But let me make sure I'm paying attention. I'm looking good about to die. 9%. Right. Look at my hair. Hey.
Am I back?
Yeah,
All right.
you're back.
Yeah, but that's I don't know. That's always my. I love the sky and I love all that, but it's kind of strange. Like I would love to go to an astronomy class or like one of those big telescopes and like I need somebody to show me some stuff. Like, come on, let's
Mhm.
let's dive deep now. Like,
Need like a personal lesson.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, like I'll see if I can. I feel like I can. That's the thing. Like, we have like a little telescope on campus, and I feel like when I was in my little class, like they said, everyone's a bunch of nerds. Like, so like if you come to them with some like questions where they could try to like to prove their worth and stuff like that, prove themselves, not prove their worth,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what I mean. Like, I just feel like they'll jump at the opportunity. Like when I took the class, like I said, I took an intro class. It was super fun because I was just like we learned about different like a bunch of different things. Like we learned about different galaxies and stuff like that, and like there was sometimes like he would just give the opportunity. He would just go on a tangent about different things. And they were always really interesting. Like it'd be like a
Mm-hmm.
comment or like solar like the different solar system things. And like my favorite thing, like he used to talk crap about astrology though. That was really funny. He's like, all the astrology signs. He's like, yeah, like all that doesn't matter. Like the stars that you guys are picking, as soon as you're born, those stars move. So like the days that you're matching up in real time aren't connecting to you, so that even if you get that description or that feeling from the stars, that feeling was
Mm-hmm.
from 3 days ago, not from today. You're off. Like so, it's not like this is why you're always think that you're right, but you're wrong, and like oh, some of these are right, but some of these are wrong because some of this energy that you're feeling is 3 days old. So like it kind of confirmed. Like he was kind of like making fun of it, but like he kind of did it in the more like he had explained it. Well, at least he could trick me into explain like he knew that it was false and be able to explain it that way. But I thought it was kind of
Right.
funny. So like he's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
you
but
girls in here like newsflash, like I'm
yeah,
sorry."
but yeah. So that's what I mean. So to me, like the stars are like a calendar. Like so,
Mhm.
I know they say it changes, but I don't think it's changed. Like the sky has pretty much been the same. Like
Yeah,
if, I don't care what textbook or history when they talk about like the stars, the alignment, like it's all the same, which is why I have a hard time that we're moving through space because the sky is always the same.
but
Like the
everything's moving.
stars are always the same. But so that means that everything in the entire known universe is moving at the same speed, at the same like that is it's
Everything, everything in what was it? I got a good one for you. I can't think of it. Uh, yes, everything, everything is moving together, and the things that are so yeah, everything's moving into together, and the things that are moving faster than the things that I can't do it. It was like a saying that used to explain it. I can't think of it because it's like a tongue twister. At the same time,
mm-hmm.
it's really difficult to understand. Um, but I can't do it. But I'm gonna try to find it. I'm trying to find that video and send it to you. But
Yeah,
I don't
find
know
that one.
because like
Because
I don't know. Like you said, like it's something that I feel like we'll never truly understand. So I don't really believe anybody. But at the same time, um,
that's my problem. I don't believe anybody. I have a problem believing them because it's it goes back to all these theories. Like everything is a theory, right? So gravity is a theory.
but we
It's not
haven't proved it wrong.
true.
We just haven't proved it wrong.
It's a theory. You can prove gravity wrong. Like the only way to prove gravity is use a. It's like gravity and the theory of to prove gravity. You have to use the theory of relativity. So I have to use a theory to prove a theory, and even inside the theory, math is the only quote unquote true thing. And then the
Wow,
math that they
is
use
that
is
never learned?
not the math that they use is not
Real.
real, right? So first you tell me math is what it is, but then when you throw out these theories, you go, okay, but this is the formula that proves it. Yeah, but if I take this and put it in the regular math, it doesn't work. They're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But this is the math we have to use to prove this theory. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
but you know, and even if you take gravity away, like some people say it's what's the other thing that somebody came with instead of gravity? It's almost like buoyancy, or density, like things that are less dense can
Oh, yeah.
whatever. Like it's
One of the things I don't remember, but yeah.
yeah.
On
And
break, I can't think.
yeah, and then all of that, with all of that going around, then we still got this big body of water that floats around, that's everywhere. 70% of this place is water, and we can't deal with that at all, like zero. Like none of that makes sense.
Oh, we can't. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like I feel like we always talk about space, but I always think about this thing is funny. Like, so it's easy to send a rocket to Mars than it is to go to the bottom of the ocean,
Makes no
and
sense.
I just like that. Just that's cool, but like I don't get it because like you said, every time because when you go the deeper you go, there's always some fish or some organism that pops up and like this freaky thing. Like for example, every time I see like a I'll go on Reddit and I'll watch like scuba diving like expeditions or something like that, and they'll see like
Hmm.
some giant squid, and like to see that thing in like natural habitat type situation, like you can't tell me that's not a freaking alien.
Alien,
Like
right?
it's
It's
not.
an alien.
Thing has 8 legs. It grabs you. It's smarter than you. It knows how to control the equipment once it has the equipment that it's never seen before in its life. Like you can't tell me those things aren't aliens. Like they live forever. Some of them can't die unless they're killed. Like they, I don't understand that. Like I think squids and octopuses. Like I don't understand what those are. Like there's things on
Yeah,
Earth that I have no. There's a bunch of
yeah.
animals. Like I don't know what a kangaroo is either, but like those are just animals on Earth that I feel like I don't understand how
I
they
see,
came to be.
I see kangaroos flexing like
They
kangaroos
just
are like
muscle and they fight and I don't understand them.
I'm swole, son. What's up, son? You gonna do something to me, son?
Yeah. And then you get like
I'll kick
killer
your
whales and
behind.
humpback whales, like those huge things. Like there's always like there's things on Earth that I just don't. I'm like whatever. Like I
Yeah,
don't. I've
somebody
never. It's
somebody made a comment. They said we are so lucky that killer whales will not hunt humans because we would be in trouble.
oh
Like
yeah.
they're the apex predator in the ocean. Like they nothing is over them that we know of because it's clear there's probably something that'll get them. But like if they saw us as food, we would be in trouble. Like they would just gobble us up. Like every time we hit the water, they'll just suck
Yeah.
us up. And they're actually no killer whale has ever harmed a person in the wild. The only time killer whales have hurt people is in captivity because they probably shouldn't be in captivity. But
Yeah.
you know, that's that's a
Like
story
yeah.
for something else.
But like that's just like anything. Yeah. Because like you take a dog, you put a dog in a cage. The dog's not gonna be happy in a cage. You stand by that dog in the cage. Eventually, he's not gonna like you're gonna do something. He's gonna be like, dude, like get me out this cage. Like, what is your issue? So you keep
Right.
poking with a stick. Eventually, like you do that
I'm
with
gonna
a
bite
dog,
you.
and like you said, you do that with a. I don't know, like even if you take that with a whale, like I don't know, you take any animal and like a lion in a cage, all these different things. Is like, dude, like you're lucky. you're lucky.
You're lucky I'm in this cage right now.
You're lucky I'm here. But yeah, like I said, that's interesting. They never harm people. Uh, you
Yeah,
know,
they've never. I thought
dolphins
that
have
was on.
saved people's lives. I've seen that before and stuff like
Yep.
that. So it's like the fact that that's my thing is like, and the fact that we just pollute the ocean, which is so annoying. Like I feel like dolphins could be like, you know what? All right, we had a cool like 50, 100 years, but these dudes are idiots. I'm not saving nobody no more. Like anytime they fall in the water and they get hit by one of these
I'm gonna
things,
drown you.
I'm drowning. like
We got to get rid of y'all. Y'all just messing this up for everybody.
I tried to save you, hey, man. Tell your peoples that we's coos over here, like keep us safe. And they go home and they tell some cool stories, like, "Oh my gosh, a dolphin saved me," and it's like, "Oh my gosh," he tells his boss, and his boss dumps oil into the ocean. Like I feel
Yeah.
like there's no win-win from that situation. So
No. But again, we can go to quote unquote Mars. We can go to the moon, which again, I'm a little suspect on that.
yeah.
Only because the main thing I'm suspect with that, like I think it's cool now that they have the space, not the SpaceX, but the one where they shoot people up and kind of let you feel
Oh,
the
yeah,
weightless, you go up to the
Virgin
however
American
high you
thing.
go up.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, now you're still not leaving Earth, you're not in space. You're up high to you. It's like U-2 planes. They fly at, I don't know, 70,000, 80,000 feet, which is, you This is pretty much as high as we go.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of, I think satellites are a little bit higher, um, but we're not we're not in space.
Yeah.
So whatever the metosphere, whatever, I don't know the terms for it, but it's just kind of weird that we went to the moon in the 70s with the technology
Hmm.
that I have here in my hand. Like my phone has more technology than all the rockets that went to the moon, but we won't go back to the moon. They just talk about Mars. I'm like, I feel like we're skipping over the big obvious one that's right there.
I think this is yeah, it could be something on the moon.
Can we just go back there real quick?
Yeah, I think it's
Like
weird
that
to
was
build a colony on the moon before you attempt to build one on or Mars before you attempt to build on the moon. Like even if,
sketchy.
but then like I heard they're like, oh, because Mars has more properties of Earth-like, but from my unless they found it, I didn't know. But did they find water on Mars? I don't think they did because they did. I feel like they'd been more of a. So if they didn't find water on Mars. There's no point in going to Mars, in my opinion,
They
because water is the
found
only thing that we kind of need.
Well, they said they found ice on Mars. Um, so there's frozen lakes, and they always show that um, you can see where it looks like was water that flowed at one time. So if you have ice, if it gets warm enough, clearly you have water.
Hmm.
I'm, I'm assuming that's how that works. Everywhere else, again, because there's some planets that they say it's all ice. There's some planets that they say is all water. They're just far away. Or there's some planets that have moons that are they say are liquid. I
Yeah,
don't know what kind of liquid they are.
I mean,
It's
like you said, like Interstellar, they talk about like they show and like so there's a bunch of different types of like planets. Yeah, there you go. A bunch of different type of planets like consist of gas planets, gas giants, all those different type of things. But yeah, I just feel like it's
but
weird. Like it's weird. But I think people said it because they signed some pact like no nation would come over here. So I feel like why would you pick? I feel like the United States feels like more of a country to break that pact than go to Mars to be like, you know what, we're doing it.
we break those pacts here on the planet. We say, hey, everybody has their own country. Don't go over there. And then what does somebody do? Somebody goes, you know what?
I'm
I
going
feel
to
like that's mine, so I'm going. Like
I feel like
especially China. Like China's like, I can
China
do
and
whatever
Russia,
we
I feel
want.
like United States, they'd be like, I'm going to the moon, like to moon, and like they're gonna be like, what? We're going. Like you're not going by yourself. And like, all right, fine, we're going. Like I'll get there first, and I'll claim, I'll put a flag on it, all these different things. So it's like, I just think it's weird, like you said. Like I feel like, because that's one thing I saw was like, oh, like they don't want to break the pack. I'm like, United States will break the pack. Like
Right.
they made it. They don't care. Like they
I
did it
mean,
so no one else could do it.
I think it's keeping the truth away from people is how things are the way they are. So the longer you can kind of keep the truth from the masses, because there are clearly people that know, but the masses don't know. And I understand why you wouldn't want to give the masses some information, because people in general aren't really reliable and trustworthy. Like they're kind of sketchy. I had a conversation yesterday or Sunday where there was a they were talking about religion, and this guy says, "Well, if we need God, because if we don't have God, then people would just go out and start killing people." He was like, "I would just start killing people," and I was like, "What? Like that don't even make sense." Like, so right now you're God, and you're a really religious guy, and you're telling me if somebody told you that this didn't exist, it wasn't true, you would just start killing people? Yes, I love, like, whatever God is, like, we need to keep him around, because you don't need crazy people, running around going, it's anarchy. I can just do what I want. So I, when it comes to that, I kind of get it. Like I do understand, because I don't want to have to be walking around like the Living Dead zombie time. You got to like strap up literally to just go to the store. Like that would be crazy.
Right.
Um, Although all these shows are kind of pushing that now, so you know,
They're showing you the blueprint how to do it.
TV's weird. Like if you watch TV's weird. Like they show you stuff. Like movies, I don't know. Like I grew up watching movies, and a lot of stuff I watched in movies, like it's here now. Like no matter what it is, like outside of like horror movies and like just some strange stuff, but like I feel like some of the truth is always in there. I'm not saying it's always 100% true, but I think they like to slide some
Oh
stuff
yeah,
in every once in a while. They
yeah.
they let you peek behind the curtain so you can
There's
be
some
like,
negatives
oh
they get to pass through. Yeah, I
yeah,
feel that way. I feel like yeah, because I feel like either movies do it where like either they like said they it's just like after the fact where they'll say something like that's like real life like that the situation is like real life or like I feel like sometimes TV shows I feel like are too I don't know like too upfront with it in a sense where like they always make fun of it so it's like you like kind of
right,
discredit it like I feel like some good movies like like a situation or something like that and you're like ooh that's almost too close to home and it's like no that was because it was home and we're trying to show it in like maybe this light or something like that. I think about that like, ooh, that reminds me of that happened like 2 weeks ago or like a year ago or something like that.
right,
You think about it, these movies are written around this time. So like if news got out, Hollywood, all this stuff like that, like because that's another thing, like just like when movies get made, like Hollywood and like media, like they could be like, no, don't put that out. Like, oh, I want to base this off a true story, blah blah blah. Like, don't put that out. Or like
yeah,
that's not gonna get as much attention. You should do it about this or like change this because you always hear like, oh, this is my attention for the movie, but
mm-hmm,
once the directors got there, the people they changed this or they changed that, and it's like, no, like you said, people could try to write true stuff, true stories, but like, no, now like you can't do everything. Like there's like
no.
limits.
Well, we better have them or anarchy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel we're in a weird time now. I feel like since like after COVID, I feel like it's been a weird like. I feel like everything's been like a lightweight gray area for like a lot of everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like it's back to what it was before. I don't think it should be in a sense, but like at the same time, we're like I mean, not that it shouldn't be like I don't understand like when that was the thing like oh we can't go back to the way we were things before blah 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 blah, and like yes, but like in what aspects? Because I feel like I don't know what aspects they're talking about. Because now you rarely see those. I don't know what they were talking about that we were going to go back to because I feel like everything's kind of like it's kind of
Back
there, but
to
it's like not much has really happened if it's gonna happen. So
yeah, uh, and that's just to me money. Like at the end of the day, society they need money. Like you need people to do stuff. Like when everybody was in the house, like that wasn't good for anybody. I don't care what they were trying to accomplish. Like that didn't work.
yeah,
So it was like we gotta flip this.
but like you said, like people not making things of anything, doing things, all those thinking about. I mean, they could have been thinking about things in house, but like I said, like the creativity, you weren't allowed to. You have restrictions on it. I feel like that's why it's harder for other countries to develop things when you get restrictions on your internet access or like your what you could read and what books you could read and stuff like that to allow your creative thoughts to explore. But at the same time, those same avenues open up to all different types of people coming up and reading different things that they shouldn't or should or could read or shouldn't read. Those different things.
Hmm.
Some people are emotionally or mentally mature enough to read certain things, and some people aren't. And I feel like that's something that I feel like is true.
Right.
Because it's like younger, like me in high school compared to now. I feel like I mean I'm decently older. Like I'm not in the high school stage, but I feel like the maturity level and like awareness. It's like oh, okay, yeah. Like I don't think I was unaware, but like the level of awareness now that I have for like both things inside schooling,
Hmm.
and like in real world too, and like the different experiences you see, like whether people like the different experience I've seen like in a school setting versus like in real life setting. And it's like
Right. And
like
like even when I grew up, a lot of mine came from I guess it came from music. Music used to it would get my attention to make me want to go, huh? What did he just say?
mhm,
Like so now I'm really interested in that just to to see if that exists, or some stuff I wasn't like aware to. Somebody might say it, or even certain people. I might like a certain group. They might be talking about something. They'll say a name, and I'm like, "Who the hell is that?" And then I go and find out who this person is, and he might have a book, or well, back then you ain't have no choice but to read the damn book. So it's like I got to read this book about this person to find out who he was or what he was about, or I would ask like relatives, "Hey, who was like what do you know about Malcolm X?" And you about, "Oh, he was a troublemaker," or "Oh, he was this," and you're like, "Okay, but I heard this." "Yeah, yeah, 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 but this,"
Mhm.
or "What about this guy?" or Medgar Evers, or it would be like weird people that not weird people. It would just people that would pop up from time to time.
Mhm.
So I think music played a big part of that, and now music is so I don't know, like I
Okay, yeah.
don't know. Music is like they took that. I think they took not that they took it away because anybody can make music. It's the mainstream stuff that they play is all you know. It's for what it's for.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because I feel like it was me, but like I would say this like since COVID, like music to me, I found myself listening to older music compared to the newer music because I feel like no, like newer music is like there's a few like songs, but like compared to like 4 or 5 years ago, I feel like yearly there's like maybe 3 or 4 good songs that I like throughout the genres kind of I feel in a sense where I feel like before I was like, oh, like every few months to be like, oh, this song's good, this song's good, this song's good. I like this one for this situation, I like this for this playlist. Like I'll listen to this when I'm at the gym, this when I'm studying, this like but throughout all my little music playlists, I feel like either I've been like limiting myself or like music. You said like the mainstream music in general has been like limited to like certain people and certain albums that I feel like I said like music is they're just like whatever they say about beauties than the eyes of the beholder. Like
Hmm.
there's different times and different moods that I'm in that music as to be able to do things for me in a sense. So it's like, oh, like okay, I listened to this song. Maybe this wasn't the right time for my vibe or whatever.
Hmm.
Try it a different time, and like I feel like newer music. Recently, I've been like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go back to the older stuff because I know this will give me the almost like the feeling that I get from music that I'm not getting from like this current age music right now. But
Right.
I'm not sure if that's
It's
just me or not. Like I gotta expand my try new people maybe or like whatever. But
I mean, it's all the same. It's a music is a frequency first. Like it's all a frequency. They make it in a certain frequency. So and like I can tell the difference. Like I don't care what 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000. Like it's all a same frequency. But then now it's different. Like even if they make a song where I like the production. Like it might have a nice beat, or the production is nice, but what somebody's gonna say in this record, and again, they ain't talking to me. They talking to, you know, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's who the music is for. Um, Unfortunately, but it's just there's no movement in it. Like I'm just like this is really not that these guys might not be creative. They're probably really creative and they come up with a lot of stuff. I don't know. It's not the same.
yeah, I just think I'll say this. I think we need like all the rappers or artists that I feel like are out in mainstream right now are all the same, and there's no really diversity between them.
Mm-mm.
Like I feel like you said, like if that's my opinion of like I feel like they're all kind of the same. Like we don't have like because like all the other ones, like the ones that I feel like brought a different vibe or different element, like retired or are not making music right now. Like everybody, like I feel like one. I'll say this. I think it's funny. I think we're missing Kanye West in the music industry. Like
Yeah.
I think we're missing like the Jay Z's in the music industry. Like the newer age those people, like the new age, like people are gonna take everything on their shoulders and stuff like that, or like who, like little baby, like yeah, I feel like like I feel like they're still making music and stuff like that, but like the Drakes, the Little Wayne and stuff like that, they're in a sense passing the torch, but there's no one to really pass it to, because no one
Right.
really has that like young foundation and is able to like everyone has like a side. I don't know, that's my thing is like I just feel like we're missing like some of like the support, the pillars in music. We got
Yeah,
like the
because
side pieces, respectfully, but
yeah, because everybody now it's all about like. So again, whatever people are like is what I'm gonna sell or what I'm gonna do, and everybody wants the same thing. It's I'm just trying to get attention. Like everybody feels like they can be a star now. Like
yeah.
before, it was a little bit harder. So now everybody feels like, hey, I have a I have a camera, I have a platform right here. I can just do stuff. But unfortunately, the stuff that's gonna get you attention is not really
Mm-hmm. What
quality
you
or there's no substance. Like it's just, you know, you
repetitive?
got you're gonna show me some skin or it's gonna be violent or I don't know. I mean I know one community that probably is the community I'm talking about. I ain't even gonna say it, but there's a community out here, it's a new community that is pretty much it's their time. So if anything happens, it has to come out of that community,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that is. So, and I ain't even mad at them. Like it's what it is.
Right.
Like I feel like somebody gonna ask me what am I? I'm gonna be like I identify as a whatever because it's just turning in. It's gonna be like one big. So remember, the world is going to like even with the financial collapses and all this, like all these banks going away. Like it's all strategic. Like ain't nobody really collapsing. Like you can't fall for that bull crap. They just at the end of the day, they want one currency, one everything. They want one. Like as soon as everybody falls for that, hey, we just want this one thing,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be trouble. But that's what it's getting to. So just think the money's going that way. The identifying oneself is going the same way. Like they're trying to get everything under one bucket because if it's under one bucket, it's easy to control. And as soon as it's easy to control, like so it's like y'all generation, I'm hoping everybody's like just paying attention because again, they've been trying to do it forever. Everything's just moving a little bit quicker. Um and quicker don't mean in your lifetime, my lifetime, like our kids' life. Like it could it could take some time, but you know, it just seems like it's moving at a rapid rate.
Or like you could say like this, like the access that people are getting, like I think it's like you said, I think it comes down to the fact that when I have children, if I decide to have children or kids or a kid or whatever like that, that they won't be raised on an iPad, like the iPad kid situation thing, because I feel like on some like all on some like World War stuff like that, because that's something like I used to like listen to or watch, like go to sleep or something like that, old World War videos and like all the different
Mm-hmm.
experiments and different things that came out of it. Like you could, in theory, you could like just like how you teach a kid, you could program a kid to believe or think a certain way to like by all means, like I don't like whatever the kid wants to do, you could do, but like to make sure that like it experiences like I don't know, like a normal development in a sense.
Right.
Like I don't know, like bro, if I gotta like talk to him or like if he has to watch the show, like for example, like I said this, I was like, yeah, there's some shows that like I would want my kid to watch. Like there's some shows that I like that like I feel like we're like they help I think shape me like mentally growing up versus other shows that people watch. Like me and my friends talk about all the time, like the whole watching versus like a Disney kid growing up, a Nickelodeon versus like Cartoon Network. And we talk
Mm-hmm.
about that all the time. I was like, it's really different because it's like I know
So
friends who were different.
What did you watch growing up?
Mine was a mixture. I would say mine was a mixture.
So I'll tell you this:
At least whatever that I when I had control, I'll say that.
you were so. There's a thing. They're teaching in school, so it's called early childhood development, right? So
Mm,
basically, from the time a child is born to time he's 5 years old, like whatever you put in there, whatever they see, is pretty much who you gonna get. Like
mm,
that is a it's funny, Bostic. Me and him used to talk a lot, like because he studied it and I used to pay attention. I was like, okay, so I'm gonna put this to the test. So there would be some things, there's certain cartoons, like even when you were a kid, like I would watch them and I'm like, what? Like hell no. Like can't watch that. Like just because there's some stuff going on in that I don't think is cool. Like because I know what program it is. Like
mhm,
it's it's really easy to do. And one shocked me. Um, and I never really watched it, but so there used to be a show called Barney, right? With this big purple thing that used to bounce around, right? Kids love Barney. Like,
yeah,
I don't know why kids love Barney, but I ain't really like Barney. Like, I was like, something's off about that dude. Like, there's something going on with the show. So, funny story. One day, you were a kid and Barney came on TV. You were literally playing and you just stopped and stood in front of the TV like a zombie. And I was like, what the hell?
mhm.
So I changed the channel. And then you kind of went back to doing what you were doing. I was like, I put on another cartoon. You kept doing what you were doing. Like you didn't pay attention. I put it back to Barney. You stopped, stood up, and stood in front of the TV. I was like, hell no. Like, I don't know what's going on with this dude, but no. Like that Teletubbies, like there was just some like like you said, and then my friend Fanella, like her kid used to watch Disney Channel. And I remember her saying something to me one day, and I was like, hey man, you need to like watch what she's watching. Like, do you hear what she's saying? She was
Mhm.
like, oh, she gets that from TV. I'm like, I know. Like, she probably shouldn't be watching this stuff because, you know, she it's like adult content that they're feeding to like a
Yeah,
kid, like a 3 or 4 year old, that their mind's not ready for that concept. Like, she should be looking at colors and shapes and shit like that and, having fun, not a relationship, boyfriend. Like, there's
yeah,
this grown ass man around all these kids. Like I was just like, there's a lot of funny stuff going on. So
yeah. And then like you said there's a bunch like and then like you first you heard about like the whole like the reason why Barney got canceled because the dude was like there was like actual issues with the dude who played Barney. Like
not really.
yeah, like
I ain't
you
know
gotta like if you thought that was like you should actually look into that because like there's some weird stuff with Barney. Like I'm not sure what it was, but like either alcoholism or like child like messing with children. Like it was something weird with Buddy. Like there was something with Buddy. So I
that.
think that's
I
kind
can
of
believe it because again, I just remembering it, watching it first because I would screen stuff before, like that was me. I was a screener. I was like, what the hell? Like if I can watch it, I got to see what's going on. So, but that was the only like it was a couple shows, but Barney was just it was something off. I was just like, I don't know, like. But all the kids love Barney. I was like, yeah, but there's something. Like
yeah.
I didn't even know about all the stuff about him being cancer. I just knew something wasn't right with that one and the Teletubbies. Like I ain't never really get them either. We were in you were in Germany when that I used to be sitting there and it wasn't that many options and I was like, I don't know, like there's something they're pushing here and I don't know why.
Mhm.
Like I don't know why they're pushing this, but I get it now. Like now it makes perfect sense. Like now Teletubbies make absolute perfect sense why they were doing it because now the generation is what it is. So you're right. You just have to, especially when kids are small. Like I said, from birth to 5 years old, whatever whatever you have after 5 years old, it's a wrap. Like in the words of Bostic, you just get bigger and uglier.
Yeah. So like
You
that
get bigger and uglier.
And like I said, we be learning about stuff like that, and like in some of my classes too. Like we just learn like how different things like can shape you and stuff like that too. Like with school and like psychology, like to unlock different mental blocks and stuff like that. And I feel like I had to be going down these little tangents and reading books, I'd be thinking about like stuff like that. Like and we'd be like, let's say we'd be playing Xbox and be like, dude, did you ever watch this show? And it's like, dude, that show was weird. It's like this made me uncomfortable as a kid. And it was like, okay, cool. Cause like so there's some episodes of like now I'm thinking about it, there's like episodes of like SpongeBob, there's episodes of like there's certain shows that like I remember like watching and be like, like and I feel like it was weird for me because I was like I felt like I was cool. I was comfortable. I seen things before, but like still this animated show, I was like, I don't like. I guess I would like. I remember like turning and be like, I can feel my body be like, I don't know about this. Like, it's just some weird feeling. Blah blah blah. Like it just wasn't. Like I believe like I wasn't ready for it. Like I wasn't mature enough or whatever like that for it. Even though I
Right.
believe I thought I was like oh I understand these jokes are like I've seen worse things before, but still there's certain shows that's like they said you're pushing a different a different vibe, a different like agenda. I don't know if I get it like agree with
Yeah,
it or
but
be a part of it. So
yeah, luckily you have some Seminole DNA in you that probably just naturally curves stuff because, same thing, like even growing up as a kid, like there was, you know, I don't know if there were scenarios or people or shows or movies. Like there was a lot of stuff that I wouldn't watch. And everybody used to talk about. Like I might come to school, and there was a show called Faces of Death. Like everybody would go, "Oh, this is the best show ever, best show." I'm like, "What is it about?" It's like, "Oh, these people just dying in these weird ways." So a part of me was like, "Yeah, don't watch that." Like I could watch it. Like I had the ability to watch it. Like I had a friend like had the tape. Was like, "You want to watch it?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." Oh man, it's good. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like, it just there was something that people talked about, and I understood what it was, but something inside of me was like, yeah. You don't want to. That's not something that you want to watch,
mhm.
or even certain horror movies. Um, I watched them as an adult. Like there was one I never forget. It was like Rosemary's Baby, and everything in me was like, yeah, you ain't watching that. I was like, I know, but everybody's watching, and the scary movies. Yeah. You can't watch that. Like, stay away. Then I get older, and that movie still kind of just the title. I was like, oh, I still kind of had that. It was like a thought in my head that was like, yeah. Remember, that's not something you're supposed to watch. So I watched it when I got older, and I was like, oh, that was it. Like, it's stupid, like because it was a movie made in like the 70s. But I was like, yeah, but as a kid, if I would have saw that, it might have brain screwed me
Mhm.
or something. Like you said, it might have been something I wasn't ready for at
Yeah.
the time. So that's
I think
always the good thing. You should all trust in whatever that voice is in your head that tells you something. Listen to that shit,
yeah. 'Cause
no
like I said, I
matter
don't think
what.
I got messed up by anything. Like I said, I saw some things I was like, I wish I didn't see that. You know, I wish I didn't see like like I wish I didn't see that clip, that movie, that whatever like that. But like, especially nowadays, like a few years ago, like I said, Twitter is unfiltered, so it's like I said like I saw things that I was like, whoa, like the dude, like I remember like one time like I was upset, like one of my friends showed me like, oh look at this dude, like he just fell this building, and I was like, oh, I'm watching dude, and then like I'm like, oh, it showed the dude in the ground. And I was like, that wasn't what I was like. I was like, oh, okay, like I understood that when you told me that, but like to then see dude hit the ground is like, oh, okay. Like now it's like, why'd you show me that? Like it's like you like
Yeah,
I understood what I was watching. I knew like, oh, this dude's about to like jump out this building, and like I was like, he hit the ground. Like, is he okay? He's like, oh no, he's not okay. I was like, what? Why did he jump? And like you see him like, oh, like now I just see him like, dude, but he did not make it. Like so I was like, okay, thanks.
right.
Now I get it, but
It's it's like a desensitizing
yeah.
tool,
And I
which
think,
is
but then you have some people, and I feel like that's what we talked about because like we were talking about the other day, like in like playing Xbox, like for my friends now is like that's our like our our therapy session. That's one of the therapy sessions. Like now
Mm-hmm.
we're at the age we could drink. So like if we all get together, we're drinking, we could talk freely, I guess too. But like otherwise, like I said, other times it's just on Xbox and growing up. And so we have some friends that we talk about now. Like you said, as you get older, your circle gets smaller and smaller. And so we have some friends now we talk about. It's like, dude, like thinking about it now, that person was probably like you said, like that person was desensitized. That person was a little messed up, like in the head. Like he didn't understand, didn't realize what. Like thinking about everything we used to laugh and joke about now, like now realizing that person was making jokes that weren't really jokes. That like it was like, oh, like you were making
Yeah,
jokes about deeper things that like I feel like at the age you were, now we could understand the jokes, but you were saying them way before we were supposed to understand those jokes. So it's like I feel like that really does something to a kid. Like, they're like, do you remember that? I was like, yeah, man, that was kind of. I was like, yeah, that was like sixth grade. It's like, yeah, like talking about it now. I'm like, dude, like, was he okay? Like, so
right. Yeah, your brain don't be. y- Your brain is not ready for some stuff at certain times, which is again, it's you know, sometimes it's environment. A
mm,
lot of stuff has to do with that. So you never know. But that's why I always tell everybody, like anybody that walks the earth, like I know for me it worked. Like there's always a unless you're crazy, because I'm assuming crazy people have that same thing. Because like I've been around people who say, "Yo, we should do this," and then I'm like, "What?" Like joking. Like if we're joking, ha ha ha, that's funny. But like you're not joking. Like you're serious. And they're like, "Yeah, like I want to do this shit," and I'm like,
mm,
"Yeah, nah, like nah."
right,
Like, come on, bro. Like, you can't be serious. And they're like, no, I'm serious. And that's when I'm like, alrighty then. So, because everything in my head is telling me no, but apparently somebody else in your head is like, yeah, let's do this. Like,
mm,
we ain't the same. Like, I don't know. I can't hang out with you at this particular moment. Like, maybe in these environments, me and you can't be cool. Like, holler at me when you over here somewhere. So, it's
yeah,
I guess it's a balance. But like I said, now with I know video games desensitize people like a lot. We had them when we were growing up, but it was a different kind of violence. So like I'm thinking of games we played. We played like Contra, which was like it looked not a Contra looked dumb because it was just a two-dimensional dude running across the screen. You could see the bullets fly. He would hit the guy's dead. You're shooting him. But now like it looks like you're shooting a person like for real. Like the level of graphics and sophistication in video games is like gone to a whole nother level. So to me, those games are cool, but for certain ages. You know what I mean? It's like at
yeah,
what age do you let your kids start playing certain games? Like there has to be a balance.
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure most parents not.
I understand that. Yeah,
And even if they are following it, the kid's gonna find a way to get it because it's
kids.
always like that. Like ours was, if it was ours wasn't so much games, it might have been like for us, it was pornography. So, you know, it wasn't easily accessible, but we had people who can get it. So
Mm,
we can get it that way because video games are video games. Like parents didn't look at that as, oh, that's violent, you know, or the wrestling games or the shooting games because again, it was two dimensional. It looked like a video game versus now it's just real.
yeah, I
Like
think there
it's
should be.
real.
I think it's like, yeah, because like there's some games that like said when we like there's some games that we play like Fortnite is one that like that one like that one's not it's not a violent game, but the concept of the game is violent. The game itself is not violent. It's like it's really cartoony. It's really action figurey, all this stuff like that. But just the concept of the game is violent. Like the
No, but whatchamacallit, and I used to like that game. What is the one? The one where you can snatch people out of the car.
oh
Um,
GTA.
GTA. Like now to me,
GTA is funny though.
GTA, it is like it's an
But
adult game,
but at the same time, you have to be mature.
right? It's an adult game. It's that's
You
an
can't be
adult
like
game.
You have to be, yeah, because I feel like that's a funny story. I got a friend. It's just funniest thing ever. It's the funniest thing ever. Actually, I have a story about myself too. I'll share too, but it's really funny. But like for the GTA one, like we were friends. Like we would be like playing blah blah blah, and it's so funny, so freaking funny. Like he's a good dude. So like late at night, we were playing like, all right, we're winding down. We'll play like an intense game. Like and so some of the like the shooting games there now are pretty intense. So you say you take up the headset. I'm like, oof, like or like I'm like in a round like five people, and like I'm the last one in my team alive in my group, and it's like, oh, I can either go get my people, revive them, or like I gotta win. So it's like that moment, I'm like, oof, like deep breaths, heartbeat, all this like that. But GTA is just funny. Like we'd be like chilling, like man, I need to relax, So blah blah blah. What he does relax is he's funny. He's like, oh, I just go like to relax and like to go play out real life moments on GTA. I'm like, what do you mean real life moments? Go to this dude's house one time and like he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm about to show you when the moment's like blah blah blah." Like I was on my phone, blah blah blah. He's like loading up the game. He starts playing. I'm not really paying attention because like I know like he's just kind of like messing around. I look at the game like 5 minutes later. This dude driving a white Bronco, right, with like 4 stars on the freeway, and he's like, "Check it out." I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm running from the police." And I was like, oh, "Okay." He's like, and like first glance went right over my head. I'm like, he's like, check out my car. I'm like, yeah, dude, you're in a slow car. Like, I don't know why you're going so slow. You're gonna get caught. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm like, yeah, you are, dude. Like, you got no. That thing has no speed. Like, it's like a Ford. Like, what is that? A truck? And he's like, it's a Bronco. And I was like, a Bronco. And he looks at me, like he makes a face at me, and I was like, dude, you're on a white Bronco, and you're you're just you're being OJ Simpson. He's like, yeah. I just shot this chick over there, this stripper, and I got in the car and I'm driving away. I'm just like, you're an idiot. But like the fact that you could do that, I feel like it's a funny thing. But like you'd be able to like disassociate the two things from reality. But
Yeah.
like
I mean,
another,
when GTA Miami first came out,
yeah, but
I did it because I was like, I know you're in my
well,
hood, so
yeah,
I got a car and I immediately drove down to the beach. But I was just, I wanted to see how accurate the game was. So that's all I was doing. Like every place that I went that I normally would go, I was driving. I was just like, oh, boom, hit this curve. Wow, it's right there. Like this is the same spot. Or I go down to the beach and I was just cruising. So, you know, like I get it, but I ain't never go, oh, I think I'm gonna get out here and smack a bitch
yeah.
real quick.
But and then the cool thing about it, like I think it's kind of interesting. Like, have you seen like the T Grizzly thing about it? Have you heard about any of that situation with it?
Mm-mm.
So Tig Grizzly, the rapper, blah blah blah. Of course, you understand. Rap game could be a violent game, blah blah blah. The things outside the business that could be happening at the neighborhoods and stuff like that. Blah 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 blah. More of the story is instead of opposing groups shooting each other on the streets, opposing groups join on GTA, and that's where all the conflict and stuff like that take place. So
Oh.
these people are like metaverse type situation, like, hey, I have a I have this Nike outfit, this Adidas outfit, these Nike shoes, Adidas shoes in real life. I'm gonna pay somebody to mod them into my game so that my video
Mm-hmm.
game character can have them, and then proceed to go do like video game drive-bys on different groups of people in a video game and not in real life.
Oh. I
So
meant so I would rather them do it in the game than
then in real life, yeah.
in real life.
So it's
So
pretty cool.
there was, yeah, that's pretty cool. So even they had a, I was watching a, it's about music. So they were talking about like back in the day when like hip hop first started. Um, like groups used to, instead of fighting, they were like break dance. So like that's kind of where break dancing came on. So instead of the gangs going out stabbing each other up, they were like, hey, we just gonna dance against each other instead
Mhm.
of, physically fighting. Which I was like, oh well, that in theory that's kind of cool. So it sounds like, that's kind of what T Grizzly then were doing. Like I can appreciate that.
Like it's really interesting. Like I like it because it's funny
Yeah.
because like I'm not into like the whole. I'm not into the community like like following rappers' lives and stuff like that. But they get
Uh-huh.
into it as far as like girlfriends of people who are on the game and stuff like that. And so there's a really funny video. I gotta find it, send it to you. One of his homies' girlfriend was playing the game with them. Like the whole group is involved.
Mm-hmm.
Homie's girlfriend was playing with them. Another group drove by and killed the lady in the video game. And so then, like, of course, like when you like, I don't know how they do. Like, they set up for like time frames or something like that. So like, if you die, like you just that's it for the day. Like you gotta turn off your computer. You know, you're done. Like you're dead. Like so,
So
you go
you
to the
can't
hospital,
come.
maybe
You can't just come back.
like you don't just like you just take up your headset like real life time like type thing. So he was mad in the video game and he was like, man, well, I can't believe they shot her. She was pregnant in the video game, and he was like, "That's messed up. How you guys gonna break the code? You guys know the code. You gotta keep family out of it. Mafia, blah 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 blah." I was like, "That's so funny because like they had like Instagram live beef things, but
Uh-huh.
it was over something that it wasn't over real life death, but like they were still talking like it was real life. So like I thought that was kind of cool. Like,
Oh, hold on. Let me show you this bottle. Hey, where's the bottle with the rum with the pineapple?
get a pineapple in it.
Oh no. I got some. I got some. I got to show you. This is some next level stuff. I don't see it. So we went to. Oh, is this it? Yeah. So when we were in whatever Caribbean island, right?
Mm.
We got this. Wait a minute. Right?
Yeah.
Pineapple rum. It actually has.
Oh, the pineapple's in it.
It actually
Chunks.
has pineapples in it.
Yeah.
I don't drink rum. This is the best tasting stuff I think I've ever had in my life. Like it is, it is ridiculous.
The hmm?
Like I could drink that whole bottle right now and not even. I wouldn't miss a beat. Like that's why I don't drink rum. Like I can't stop.
Like water.
Oh, I can't stop. But that's a life changer. Like hopefully it'll still be something when you get here. You'll get to try.
Hopefully.
We were talking about that. It was funny. We had a conversation. It was like, 'cause we got a lot of stuff. Like we brought some stuff back,
Mhm.
and somebody was like, "Well, we ain't got to worry about one because that one is with child." She was like, "But the other one will hit this up pretty good." I was like, "Yeah, there's some good stuff."
That sounds good. Yeah, the little chunks in it. That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or then speaking of the video game thing. So, um, the guy here. He's a big gamer.
mm.
So, but we were talking about the Oculus because he has one. I was like, oh, I'll get on there from time to time. So he's like, yeah, I'm on there. And then he was trying to tell me about the VR, the rooms,
Mm.
and going in, and he's like, it's the virtual rooms, and so I wonder how they're gonna play out. Like, are they gonna be as big as like some of the GTA type stuff? Like,
I think
is it gonna be like some of these different kind of communities?
it could be. As of right now, it's a lot of like for example, as of right now, it's just like from what I was reading, nobody wants to get in business with Facebook and the Meta. Or
Mm-hmm.
there's certain gaming companies that don't want to get into business with the Meta and stuff like that, and rather stick with like
The
PC or
plat.
like Xbox, PlayStation thing because like Facebook would have like control and like the everything that the Meta like people say like that one company was saying like how much involved in personal like how much involved Facebook is with their stuff. They don't want to give up that to
Right.
Facebook. They rather just like, hey, you guys make a game, we'll put it on our platform, Xbox, PlayStation, computer games. While Meta's like, oh, we got to make sure that you guys like the video. Like he was like, I just don't want to do. I don't want to give up all the control that to give up in order to make a game with Facebook at this current time. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, that was one of the bigger games, but like, like you're like for example, like your Mad is not on there, and like it's a different company that makes the virtual thing. That
Mm-hmm.
game is pretty fun. Like there's some companies that do it, but like it's just I think it could happen, just not like instant. Like it's like a lot of people like said they usually like people don't want to work with like the Facebook Meta, like they don't want to give up that like the rights or whatever like that they're asking for.
Yeah, because Facebook is all up in there.
Because then like said everything I don't like the only thing I don't like about it is like now games are connected to your social media. Well, before it was like you have your social media online handle and then your game online handle. Like you matched it, that's on you. But like if you wanted to
Mm-hmm.
keep it separate now, it's like hey, like your Facebook friends like is playing with. Do you want to play with? And it's like I feel like I had different
Invasion of
groups of
privacy.
people, different yeah. Like I have my video game friends. That, like some of them don't know my real name. Like and like whether that's it's not that big of a deal. Like that's just how it is. Like they don't have to know my real. They don't need to know
Right.
anything. Like not saying that I don't want to share it to them, but like there's some people that are like we're just not. That's just not the
Yeah.
communicative friendship that we have. So it's like
But I
no,
told you, like at the end of the day, they're trying to get to the
yeah,
one thing. They're gonna go around the circle, come around the back, but eventually, like that's the name of the game. So it's kind of how do you be like independent?
yeah,
Like at this point, you got to have like three different phones so you can be different people in different places. Like back in the day, I could just go outside and tell everybody a fake name or a
mhm,
name I want to use, and that's who I was. But that ain't me in real life. I'm
right,
again, I'm still waiting to. There's still been times I've run into people, and then they still call me by an alias, and
mhm.
I'm cool with that because I'm like to them, that's who I am. Like
That's you.
I never wanted people to know who I was because I felt like I don't I didn't want people to be in my personal life. I just wanted you to I want you to know this guy.
Yeah,
This is
like
not the
I get
same
that.
guy at home.
'Cause I feel like when like I had different things. Like there's some groups of friends like that have met. Like there's some people that have met all groups of my friends, and it's like oh like why do you have like three different names? And I'm just like sit down and like I don't know. And then like some people like some of my friends who know like oh what name do you tell them? And it's like don't do that. Like don't like don't make it like that situation. But like yeah, like you said like I was either like some people call me whoever called me Charles, they call me Charles because they heard the teacher say it or something like that. And then
Right.
when I got to the age where I was like, I don't want them to say that. I went by CJ. And then like I said, there was like the sports aspect. We went by Mitchell, my last name. So I was like, all right, like I like there was different areas where I was in where like, I had different names and I kind of just separated. I was like, okay, like sports wise, anybody in sports wise that call my last name, that's fine. Like whatever. CJ was something that I was feel like it was like I feel like I was like my fake one I could disassociate it from like my real name. And then like so like I feel like it just came about like that. But I had like different situations where I was like, oh, like why do you have three different names? And synonyms? Like it's just like it's just the way it is. Like now it's like it's hard to do. You gotta do voice checks and face checks on
Oh
everything.
no no no! I don't do none of that. So
Mhm.
no device I have will I ever use fingerprints. I'll never use face recognition. If they're gonna use mine, I make it very hard. Like I ain't gonna just volunteer because once I volunteer, it's a wrap. Like so, I can't volunteer. Like I got this
Yeah,
thing about me. Like I'm old school. Like I can't volunteer. I feel like it's a I can't volunteer, even though I know it's really cool. Like somebody here in my house used the fingerprint thing all the time, and they were like, "Why won't you just set that up?" I was like, "Yeah, because I don't. I feel like they're gonna have my fingerprint,
right.
even though they probably already have my fingerprint somewhere. I can't. I don't want to associate it. It's I don't. Know. It's like the more. It's one of those balances. Like the more I know, I try to not do it, but you can't not do it because it's like everywhere. But we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah. Like when I set up, like for example, when I set up my new phone, I had a lot of issues. Like I had a lot of issues like it was like electronic SIM cards no more. So this one doesn't have a SIM card.
There's no more SIM cards.
No more SIM cards.
Oh, you
Electro
had well,
electronic SIM
yeah.
cards now.
Oh, oh. I'm
So
still on I my phone's old. I'll just say that.
mine is too. Like I had to do it, and I had to get. Mine was like the X would have like that. They're like, oh yeah, they switched to electronic. They just switched to.
Oh,
It's like the 14 they just switched to, and I was like, I didn't. I mean, I didn't know, but like I needed to get a new phone, but I was like, that sucks. But yeah, so watch out
yeah.
for that.
I'm still on 11.
Yeah, I think that was me. So and my
I'm
mine, but
holding.
mine didn't slow down or anything like that. Like I didn't feel anything slow or anything like that. It just when I moved and I dropped it a few times. So
Um,
and I decided to just get rid of it instead of fixing it again.
I mean, I know I'm gonna need one at some point. I just right now, right now I'm holding on for dear life. I'm gonna see how long this go. Even my laptop, like they keep telling me every day, you need another one. I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, you're gonna have to put the little things on and say clear and make this thing work.
Yeah,
So
I
I
mean,
gotta do that.
I don't want to do it anymore, but that's kind of how it is. But
It's like that in cars too. So
yeah,
like I was big on electric cars and I'm not really feeling electric cars right now. Um, mostly for I don't know, like all the electric cars I want cost a lot of money. Like there's one a Reven or something,
hmm
but these are like $200,000-300,000 cars. Like I feel like Porsche makes one because I feel like I want my electric car to have like some performance aspect to it. I don't just want to go in a straight line. Like I want to be able to go around curves. Like I just today was the day I took out the little white car, and I had to go on a drive, and the roads are kind of it's raining today, and I can tell you I had so much fun just driving. I drove like 30, 18 miles there and 18 miles back.
hmm
I had a ball. Like
yeah.
there's nothing like natural combustion. Like I had a ball. Like I was making noise and I was
See,
taking
like,
curves at a speed that I probably should not have, but I can. So I
that's,
did. It was, I
that's funny
don't
because
know.
like on the way home from the gym, it happened to me twice. Where like a dude be like in front of me, and like they said like we had rain and wind, same thing. Like he was in front of me, like he did it twice, and I thought that was the coolest thing. It was like he had so much fun, but like it was like this left turn, and like the way I was going home, I was taking the back roads on purpose because I was like, on the way I went to the gym on the way there, like a bunch of lights, but like people don't know how to drive in the rain. California's for in the rain for some reason. People freak out. Like people drive with their hazards on. They like the whole thing. It's not even raining hard. Like it's terrible. So I was like, oh, back roads. So on the way back roads, chilling. It's like trucks and us, and like every other light or something like that, he would like burn out in front of me and like kind of just like kind of sag in the middle of the street and then go. And I loved it. I mean, I kind of did because like I kind of blocked traffic for him like twice. Like, kind of got in the middle lane and let him do it because he could do it. Because I was like, it's funny, like it's cool.
What was it?
It was like a little. It was like a little older. It was like an older but nice, like look like older, nicer Impala.
Oh, okay.
Like you like kind of like it looked nicer paint, newer, but like it's an Impala older.
Hmm.
It's like an older car, so you can hear like the older engine
Yeah.
compression thing, like with the
You
pipes.
can hear the naturally aspirated
Yeah. So
engine
like it
making
was
a lot of
cool.
noise.
And he did it like 3 or 4 times, and then like I think it was really fun. Like the fourth time he did it, like or the last time he did it, surprisingly, like as soon as he got done, like against like after he went like straight, it was straight for a little bit. Like a cop came out and like crossed in front of both of us. And I thought it was the funniest thing ever because at the light, I looked at him and I was like, I gave him like the heads up, and like I can't really say like through both of our tents, it was really dark, but I saw like his head too, and then like the cop like turned, and then like I remember like it was really fun. Like the cop turned, and like as soon as the cop turned, like he kind of like put on his blinker and like made the turn this way, but the cop
Mhm.
came straight, like kind of followed me, and I was like, did he think it was me? Like I was like, oh. So then like I had pipes in my car, but mine weren't as loud as his. But I was like, if he just heard the pipes and then now hears the pipe, he's gonna think that's me. But he like he was there. He was like on me for a little bit, but like the next light, he kind of gave some distance. So I think it was,
Um,
but it was cool. Like I said, like I just saw someone having fun, and that's why I started laughing because I was like, yeah, like I just saw like you like over here in California, just like every other light, just kind of skirt out a little bit, hear the noise, catch the traction, and keep going. I was like, yeah, you're having fun. Like
yeah. And
little
see,
power,
I don't have problems with traction. Like, and
you just
that's
going.
the yeah, I can just go. But that's the funny part. Like, I don't. So before, I used to, I wanted to go from the light to whatever the speed limit was, like as fast as I can. So it's
Mm.
like I don't do that no more because I'm trying to conserve gas. So I just drive normal. It's just once I start going, because like I could have taken like the interstate. I was like, nope, I'm taking the back roads because they're curvy, and it might take. Well, it didn't take me longer because it ain't nobody on the back road, and I wasn't slowing down. It was just I. I don't know. It's weird. Like it's not like I was speeding. I know I can go a certain speed, and I don't have to slow down. I can just and I'm doing all the curves and the hills. It's pretty fun.
Okay.
But huh?
That's pretty dope. That
Yeah.
sounds fun. Like I said, I think driving's like a little stress reliever. Driving's
Yes,
like a little stress reliever. Like,
that's that's how I use. It was funny you say that because back in once upon a time, anytime I just felt tense or I needed a stress relief, I would just get in my car and go drive. Like
yeah,
it might be an hour, um, just an hour drive, like a city I knew that was somewhere. I would just drive, and like I said, not I didn't necessarily have the speed. I just wanted to be in the car and I wanted to drive, and then
I
I
went
get to
to, like
where I'm going, drive around, and go back.
just enough to feel like the RPMs like on my foot, like just to hover with whatever speed I'm doing, just to hover with it. Like I'm not pushing the force to the middle, but I'm just like applying pressure and just like, those are pretty chill. Like I chill. I do that like
Yeah.
that's why I take the back roads. Like I know they're straight. I know like it's either me or nobody, or it's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
me or like a truck, and then I could, use a little bit of gas, get around the truck, and then just be again. Like so, like
Right.
it's really not a big deal. Like fun, and like I
That,
just wish I had a little bit more power in my car so I could have more fun with it. But I'll take the gas mileage on it. I'll take the gas mileage.
right. Save the gas mileage as long as you can.
Yeah. That's it.
Like,
But it's fixed now. I can't. I'm not gonna get rid of it. I mean, I wasn't gonna, but my mom
hmm
was like, "Oh, you're having so many problems. Like, you should probably." I was like, "It's not. Like, I'll just fix it." Like, uh, I changed the sound system. I got a smaller one. Changed my battery.
hmm
Had them check it. I think that was it. Like, I think I was just doing too much, so I downsized. But I
Yeah.
was having a problem with the the starter, and I was like, bro, the battery's dying because I can't start my car. I need to fix that.
Uh,
And then
yeah,
like,
especially when you put if you had music and amps in there, like unless you had stiffening capacitors or basically extra batteries in the car, then all it
yeah,
does is I learned that lesson the hard way. Like this is how I knew I spent too much money on music. So every time the bass would hit in my car, like my lights would dim, and the little tack thing would I would see it move. So it's like the bass would hit, and then my lights would go. Wonk. I was like, oh shit! Like clearly, I have too much.
going
My
on.
amps and my speakers are too big for this car. Like I got too much going on, and then that's when the guy taught me about uh, the the stiffening capacitors. They're like little batteries. So I think I had like six to the point where the music would hit, but then my lights wouldn't like do nothing. But
Yeah.
sometimes I miss that. I miss I miss music like that because that was fun. The only thing that made me change is I remember I went to a hearing doctor one day, and I'm doing this test, and this guy comes back, and he's like, he gave me a look. I'm like, something's wrong. He was like, oh no 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 no. He said, your hearing is great. He said, you hear frequencies that most people don't pick up. He said, do you listen to your music really loud? And I was like, yeah. He was like, hearing can never get better. And I was like, so, but you just said that I can hear frequencies that normal people don't pick up. He was like, right. He said, but your hearing can never get better. It can only get worse. He said, you're young, you know, just kind of dial
Watch
it
it.
back a little bit. Right. So I was like, I think I was like 24, 25 at the time. I was like, all right, so because I don't know how to dial it back, I had to stop.
Mm.
I, the concept of dialing it back didn't exist to me. I was like, I'm going big or
Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah, I just changed. I had downsized it. It gave me more trunk space, but that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
But I said the next car I would do, I would. This would be the last. The next car I would get, I want everything to be stock and good. Like I don't want to have to add anything extra. I want my music to be bumping like as is, but
Right. But a
yeah.
lot of the newer cars have I will say this, like a lot of cars have they making them now with I'm pretty sure, like if you rode in that Cadillac, I'm pretty sure that Cadillac has a
Oh
pretty
yeah,
nice
like, I
sound
think
system.
it's stock with like Bose or whatever. Like this is something.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the Buick I had a Harman something sound system, and that like like it
It
had
was
like a little
it
amp
bites.
in
Yeah,
there. Like it did what it needed to do. Even the little white car has I think has a Bose or Harman something in there. Like
yeah. 'Cause that's what it was. I was having a problem with my car. I pretty much unplugged everything, and I was like riding out with everything unplugged. All the extras
mhm,
unplugged, and I was like driving my mom's car. I was like, ooh, like I remember what music used to feel like in my car. Like when I'm driving, like I want that back. So that I fixed it, and then I was like, oh yeah, like of course mine is a bit above and beyond what they got, but like I was like,
mhm.
yeah, I wanted this. I wanted this in my car. Like I needed this. So.
Which is why I hate my. Well, I ain't gonna say I hate my truck, but for some reason I got a stock
Like,
stereo. Like it sucks. Like no matter how much I turn up, I got like 6x9s and no amp. I'm like, this is dumb.
yeah, like it missing. It's like half the music. It's like half the
Like I
music,
can't hear it.
and that's what I
There've
thought.
been times when I put in earplugs
Mm. Yeah,
so
in
I
the car,
can
yeah.
listen to my music.
Because I feel like there was times that's why I thought. That's why I thought music was bad for me. I was like, man, maybe because I'm not like bumping in my car like I used to. Like maybe that's why I gotta put in my car and like bump with all the bass like I used to, like I was doing back when I was listening to these songs when they came out. The songs that I'm going back to. And so I
Hmm.
was trying out the new songs and like in the car and stuff like that, and it wasn't the same. I was like, oh no, like it's not it. Like it's something else with the music, but I'm glad I got the beat back though.
Yeah, my
Because the
bad.
old
I
songs are like, yeah,
probably
these are why I see listen to these songs, but like the new songs are like, man, these still even with the good like there's some like Metro Boomin had some good beats that he put on like that last album, but like
hmm
the songs in the album aren't whatever. Like I rather just listen to the instrumental almost on some of these songs. I'm like I could formulate my own thoughts.
right.
Better than but like I can't rap, but like me just thinking would be better than whatever you guys are saying. You guys are distracting.
I do that from time. I do that now still. Like if a song's on and playing,
Mhm.
um, after whoever says their verse, I feel like if the music's still playing, they just open that up for me. I'm like, oh, this is where I drop my hot eight. I ain't gonna
Right.
make 16. I can give you a hot four.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give you a
Yeah,
hot four. I
I
really
just
wish
do.
I had a chance too when I was doing this stuff with the band. The dude told me, and Andy still does stuff. I follow him every once in a while or check out what he's doing. But he used to be like, you should write. You should be a writer. You should write music. And I was like, I'm not a writer. He was like, you are. You just don't know it. I was like,
Mhm.
no, I'm not. He was like, no, you are. He was like, you're always talking and saying stuff. He said, and it's always like really good stuff. He said, you just need to, you know, break that down and write it. He said, and that's all right music is. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. But as soon as my brain starts to think of what to write, I'm not gonna think anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like my brain don't work like that. It just has to like come out.
Yeah, natural.
Right. But
That's of course. Have you heard Jaren's music?
not in a while.
He sent me like 3 songs today.
Today?
Yeah. I'll send it to you. The first one I thought was pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
but I listened to the other ones yet. But that was just because like he sent it to me like as we started them. But like I'll send it to you. Like it was pretty good. Like you said, like it's not what I, he's pretty good. I think he's pretty good. Like it's
Okay.
better than I thought. Like I think he
Yeah,
has
I
an
know he
understanding of
had.
music. I'll say that. I think he has an understanding of music
Oh,
more than
okay.
I thought he did. Like instead of just like, oh, I'm gonna become a rapper. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think he actually understands what he's doing, and that's why I was like, oh, that's actually like listening to it. I was like, okay, you're not just like, yeah, like your lyrics are one thing, but like, is the beat match your lyrics, match your flow,
Right.
match with like all those to make a good song? And I was like, oh, these like it doesn't sound like your lyrics plus whatever you're saying sounds good. So
Oh, I have to check him out. Look if it's good. I'll send it over to Andy.
yeah, I'm gonna send it to you, man. Yeah, so I sent it to let's see. Yeah, I thought they were pretty good. Like he sent it to me, he was like, what's your whatchamacallit? Like I'm gonna send you something. I was like, okay, whatever. And he sent it to me, I was like, oh wow, like I'm pretty good.
Yeah, I told you I'm trying to get him to come here.
Yeah, when you get him to come in there, tell him I'll go. Like I feel like I'm hella proud of him. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
I just like from everything I'm hearing, I'm like, oh damn, like I didn't like I feel like I don't know, I feel like he got a bad rep. I don't think he was like I feel like I talked to him, I knew him. Like I don't think he was bad, but like you said, he just sometimes you make decisions that you probably should. But
It's
like
in it was
he was always
environment.
I feel like yeah, he always like I feel like he always like was I feel like he was still realistic though. That's like that like that's what I got when like I feel like he was still kind of realistic in a sense for like when
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him, like it was like sometimes you'll say something, but for the most part, everything you're saying is like something that you believe it, and I believe you could do it. Like I don't think he's saying things out of the ordinary. Like I'm gonna do
Right.
this, and I was like, okay, like I don't see that doesn't seem like a false thing for you to say. Like
Right.
I
Far
believe you
fetched.
could do that if you did it. Like
And I feel bad sometimes. Not that I feel bad. It's what it is. Like there was a pivotal moment in Jaren's life, well, in his life where um like I was helping him, right? So I was helping him, but he didn't want my help because he had somebody that was like pacifying him, aka my mother. So I was like, look, I only do one thing. The, the story was we were in that house in Coconut Creek. I don't even know how old you was. I don't remember how old Jaron was, but I think it was after you left to go back to, you left to go back home. And so it was just me and him. And I'm like, all right, so I'm uh I'm gonna take over. Like I'm gonna take the lead on how you move, what you do, stuff like that. So that's what I was doing. He didn't like it, and he told my mother, and then she came to me and she was like, "Jaron is not CJ. You can't treat him like that." And I said, uh, "I'm treating him like I treat my own son. Like that's all I know. Like I'm not gonna treat him any different." I said, "I would assume that's a good thing. I'm not treating him different. I'm treating him literally the same way I do CJ." And she was like, "You can't do that. He's not CJ." And I was like, "Well, I can't do it then because I only know
one way.
one way. Like, I'm not gonna change what I do to pacify him. I'm either going all in or I'm not going at all." And she was like, "No." And I was like, "Well, I'm done." So I literally didn't do anything else. Like whatever they said, I didn't pay attention. Like even
I
though
think I remember that.
I
Like you
saw
told me.
him do stuff, like I know the direction he was going in, and I was just like, ain't got nothing to do with me because I only know one way, and y'all don't like how my style.
Mhm.
And so it kind of turned the way it was. And I remember watching him, and I was just like, crap. And then the only time I stepped in the second time was when they sent him to Texas, and he was getting ready to come home. Like she was telling me, "Oh, Jared, get ready to come home." That was the only other time I stepped in, and then I called them, and I was like, "Do not come back." He was like, "I ain't got nowhere to stay. School's out." I was like, "I don't give a shit." I was like, "Figure it out. Like, you can't come back here. Like, I don't care if you got to get a job. I don't care what you do. Do not come back here." I was like, "This is the one time in your life where you need to." I said, "At some point in your life, your mom not gonna be there, grandma not gonna be there, ain't nobody gonna be there. Like, it's gonna be on you. Like, figure it out."
Mhm.
So he stayed up there. Like, he ended up having a baby,
Mhm.
but he stayed up there. And when he told me what he was doing, like, he was like, "Yeah, I go to work, I come home, I'm staying with this girl, but I'm sneaking in the house when a mama go to work." Then I was like, "I don't give a crap what you do. At least you figuring it out." So he ended up staying up there. But you know, outside of that, like I'm like, if they would have just let me do what I do, I think he would have been in the. I don't think I know he would have been in a better place. But you know, they they're doing the same thing with another one. You know, Christian.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, it's like Jaren 2.0, but it's worse. So you know, uh,
Damn, you say that, and I 100%. That's crazy. Yeah, because it's like it's things that like I feel like when you said that, like I don't understand. Like you said, like if you were treating him like you treat me, like I remember when you told me, like, oh yeah, like Jen was staying for like 2 weeks, but then like yeah, and like I was like, okay, that was pretty much it. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And you're like, yeah, but I was like, okay. So then I was like I just feel like yeah, there's things that I feel like are obvious that like I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? Like you're not like you. I don't know. Like things just go over their head, but.
I never I don't get it.
I don't know
But
because I used to think they did that with Sienna for a little bit for like one thing, and I was calling. I was like nah. I was like no, and mom was like what? I was like no. I was like Sienna, come here. I was like no. Like I was like mom. I was like you can't, and she was like why? I was like I just no. And then like eventually like she was like okay no, and then like Sienna was mad at me blah blah, and mom was like why? And I was like it's just something like I feel like the you guys are just not seeing things that like that's something that I would be like that's something that for me you would have told me no. So I don't understand why you're telling her yeah because like this same thing I'm like I was like oh this is it like and you said yes and I was like like you said no for me for this like she has to go through that no phase and like whatever like you have to just I just feel like that and like for Christian I just feel like they just let this dude just say stuff and like just stand there and
right,
like, he just say things and stand there. I just look at him like this. I'm like I'm gonna hit you. Like I don't know. Like they're not paying attention, but like I'm gonna beat them up.
they pay attention, but they don't pay attention. They just I don't know. It's weird because
Weird. They just let Buddy just say stuff.
like when he was here, like that was it Christmas, whatever it was.
Oh,
He
that
did
time.
something. Yeah, when I damn near killed him again.
Mm.
But like you know me, like I got one rule: just don't lie. And this dude he just like in my face, and he lied, and I was like, you gonna make me turn into like somebody I don't really want to turn into. So I turned into that person. And then I remember Noah looked at me like she saw a ghost. And then Faith came downstairs and she was trying to figure out because it was a ruckus. I don't do nothing silent. So there's a ruckus. I remember she came downstairs and she looked at me and she looked at him. And she was like, "What happened?" I was like, "He lied to me, but we good." And then she just went back upstairs because, you know, you ain't gonna tell me what I
Right.
can't do. I don't care if it's your kid. Like I did the same thing to you. Like I beat up everybody in the house. Like it's what it is. So and then she would call because I think at some point, like Faith will, I think she knows, and then she'll be like, "Yeah, you need to get him," and I'm like, "I know, but y'all ain't gonna send him. Like y'all keep saying that, like it's like a threat thing, but y'all ain't really gonna send him."
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I told him when we were there for Christmas, I was like, "This dude need to go where his dad's at. He don't want to go, so like just send
Yeah,
him."
so the choice thing.
And
Like,
that's the part, right? That's the part where I was like, you can't send him to me when he has a daddy. Like
yeah,
his dad is physically like Jaren's daddy wasn't around like nowhere. But this dude is right there. Like you send him over there all the time. Like I don't care what he wants, just sit him there. Like Junior's gonna turn out a lot better than
yeah.
Christian.
I think Junior's more mature than Christian,
He is.
and that's weird. Like, I haven't like in the conversations that I had with them during Thanksgiving, talking to both of them, Junior was more mature than Christian was. Like, I know like
Yep.
there's an age where like you're in high school, whatever, like that. I think he is like
Mm-hmm.
you want to be alone. You think everyone's weird. You think everyone's annoying. Like I understand that. I remember that. Like I'm like, bro, you guys are weird. I'd rather just chill, blah blah, do my thing, play my video games, whatever. But like even playing video games, I was like, we were playing video games in there. I played with Junior. I brought him a game or something like that because he was telling me about something, and then I was like, oh, I'll give you this. And then like just like the two, they're just different. Like, they're like really more like mature than Christian. I think at this point, like
He
with
is.
like, this self awareness in a sense. Like I don't know. Like I feel like he just needs to like I said, Junior or Christian just be saying stuff. I'm like, dude, what do you? Why are you saying that? Like, there's no need. You're not. I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah, that part.
Like you said, just weird. I don't know what it is. Like you just he's
Yeah,
actually
I was
growing
waiting to.
without
I
having
was
earned
being
any.
grown. Like I've been waiting to see, um, because he's in Houston now, so I'm assuming he's going to a school with more people that of his ethnic hue. But I'm waiting. Like I don't even know what grade he's in, but
But you
it's
could
like
there's I don't know. If
you can
Christian
slide.
the
I know
way
you
that I
can
think
slide
he
in
is,
high school because if you put yourself in those certain cliques, you can you can maneuver and
yeah,
he can make it out. But
I think he can make it out if he has to he has to define his clique, but like he can make like I think he can make it out with a certain group that I think he belongs into. But like you said, if he can't talk to people a certain way. There's some people he won't be able to say stuff to, and those kids are gonna wake him up quickly. I feel
that's
like
that's the part I'm waiting on. Like I ain't saying I want him to get his ass beat, but he need to
yeah,
get his ass beat.
like you said, I feel like he's unaware. Like I feel he's unaware. Like he's unaware of like so like I feel like and people can see that because it's like I'm not a bully, but I'm like if I know he's not prepared. He would not be prepared to fight.
Mm-mm. Or he's just doing that at home and he doesn't do it at school. Because I've known people who, you
Mm.
know, when they're around certain people, like they're not the same person. Like, but when he's in an environment where people allow that, then that's when he does it. Because I know he does it. Like I said, but again, I don't say nothing because I I can't because I'm
Mm.
gonna hit him. Like I don't. I'm gonna hit you. Like it ain't gonna be no 2,000 ways about it. Like I'm going to hit you because you won't say it to me. And Karen tells me sometimes she's like, "Oh, you should say something." Like you hear him saying it. I'm like, I know, but his mama right there. Like she know better, and his grandmama right there. And I always look at them and go, like, you ain't gonna say nothing, and then they immediately make an excuse, and then I'm like, all right, well,
Mm.
just know this is
It's like
what
a
you
double
created.
standard thing. It's like because then it's like you. I think I think the only weird thing about like other situations is like you see that and then like when the negative result happens, they're always surprised. And it's like, bro, like, you guys allowed this to happen. Like when the negative result happened, like this, it's always weird thing. Like it's like, oh, and it's like, what do you mean, oh? You did this, like you allowed dude to just do it, like
They always. That's why they stopped calling me. Like nobody calls me. Like they do not call me. Like I remember the last, well, one of the, it's not even funny no more, but the time when my mom and Charity had Deasia, they
Oh,
were at the house and they going through all this stuff and they called me and they was like, you need to come over here. And I'm like, for what? We got Deasia over here and she doing that. And I'm like, so I drive over there. I remember they were in mama's room, her, like Deasia was like in the corner and they were both standing up and they were just, rah, 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 just talking. I
mhm.
walked past both of them. I grabbed her. I walked outside because I didn't want them to hear nothing I was about to say to her. And
Mhm.
then I had a conversation. I was talking to her like she needed me to talk to her, and I told her everything she needed to hear. And then I was like, now we went back in the house, and then I was like, you do this, you do this. We ain't about to go back through no more of this arguing stuff, and I'm about to go. The two people who were supposed to do what they supposed to do did not do it. Like, because I was trying to get her out of town. I was like, y'all gotta. She's agreed because they wanted her to leave. She wouldn't leave. After I went outside and talked to her, she said she would leave. So all they had to do was do what they had to do, and they would have shipped her off. Right? They ain't do
Mhm.
that. And then what happened because I remember Mama called me going, "Oh, the age is pregnant." Like you said, surprised. I'm like, and you surprised from what? I know, but then and the other thing, and I was like, again, and you surprised by how you surprised, like all this is gonna happen, and then the Asian wouldn't even come around me for like a while, like she wouldn't even show up to the house
Mhm.
because I just told her all of everything that happened to her. I literally told her. So then she was like, "You're right." No, no shit. Like I tried to explain to y'all what was gonna happen. Like you thought I was joking. Like the world is the world. Like it's rough out here,
Yeah.
especially down there. Like that's
Yeah. That's
that
that's
is a
my thing is like
different place.
it's a jungle down there. It's a real like I remember like it's like really different. I'm like going down there. I'm like okay, like, but then that's why like that's the thing is like from where I'm at the normal time and going down there. I'm like okay, so I know this is different and this is worse, but at the same time I feel like you guys are still unaware that this what you're doing is like gonna lead to those things that you're saying. Like not only do you like I don't know, I just feel like it's like it's gonna happen, right? And it's like yeah, and it's like all right, cool, as long as you know, like because like I feel like. And I'm still able to diagnose that same result's gonna happen, but like
Yeah, as long as you know.
I don't know, they just like my thing is like they don't. I feel like they say it, but they don't mean it.
Yeah, because that's the part where people lie to themselves. Like
Yeah,
it's the whole genetics are a mug. So if I think that was the time I was trying to I think I told Shaw too or you I was like like you got to be honest. Like I know what I did. Like I know all the stuff that I did growing up,
mhm,
good, bad, indifference, whatever. Like and then but I get it from my mom and my daddy. Cool. So like your kids gonna do the similar stuff, the same stuff, whether you want them to or not. So you might as well just be honest and be like, hey, blah 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 blah. So that way, when shit happen, at least you got like a encyclopedia. You got something like
yeah,
to lean on. I was in the world with half shit. Like no, I was in the world with 25% of what I needed. So, like my mom told me some stuff, but then I just kind of, I saw her. Like I paid attention.
mm,
So when I was out in the world by myself for the first time, I was like, all right, everything they said don't do, I'm probably getting ready to try it because, you know, why you ain't want me to do it? You did it. So I
mhm,
tried all, some stuff I tried, some stuff I was like, I'm cool, whatever. But I still had some weird situations where I made like some dumb decisions. And I felt like if she would have just sat me down and said, "Hey, when I was a kid, I did this, and this," cool, and then I would have been fine. But she didn't, so I did what I did, and then it wasn't until I was adult and I came back home and started telling her all the stuff I did, thinking it was Edwin, and
Mhm.
then find out it wasn't him and it was her. I was like, you could have saved me like a lot of damn stress and heartache if you would have just kind of. Because I'm telling her stuff thinking it's him. She was like, "Oh no, I did something like that." I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
You? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I did this." I'm like, "Yeah, but I thought you said you were like this angel princess. Clearly you weren't because you had me. Like I ain't just pop up out of nowhere. Matter of fact, that's what I. It's all like a cycle. So it'll be the same. It'll be the same thing with your sisters. Like
I totally
whatever
agree with that.
Emmett did and whatever Shar did, like they somewhere in between. Like there's somewhere in between.
Yeah, I was talking to my sister yesterday about it. I was like, oh, she was like, just talking to her because of course she moved out. And I was like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of pluses and minuses, like living on your own, living away from mom, dad, blah blah blah. Like this would be easy to do. This would be easy to do. You can make sure you understand this. Make sure you like prepare for this. Like real life stuff. Like I did this, and then she was like, and that's how I was like, oh, like another thing is like the adult relationship I have with like with mom. And she's like, oh, what do you mean? I was like, I don't know if you know, like me and mom weren't friends like in high school, like I would say like from like six to like no, I would say like from eighth grade to like into like sophomore year, like say let's say it's like six from sophomore year, like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like we were cool, but like there could be some there was like throughout the year, throughout the report card year, there'd be a few times where like she would just be annoying, she'd be on me for some class, and like I'd just be in a situation where I'm just not having fun, you know, like we're arguing or whatever like that, whatever the case may be, but like I said, the adult relationship I have with her, I was like, sometimes I just tell her stuff. I'm like, she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, we'll be in the car, to be a rap lyric come on, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
say it or repeat it and see like an older lyric, like older song, and see with the she's like, oh, did you listen
I
to this
just
in the
flipped it.
club? Did you listen to this with your headphones on, like in at your room in a car? Blah, blah, like, what was your vibe? She's like, oh, a club, and I was like, ah, so you did this, like, or like to find out things, like you said, like she didn't tell me nothing, like everything I know is from you, like I hear two or three stories about her, but like she don't tell me those good stories. So like that aspect is kind of fun. I'm telling some mom like, yeah, you gotta like ask those questions because mom's not gonna tell you. Like mom's gonna make you think that she's a good two shoes. Like she's not. Like, but that's how she's gonna paint herself. That's how mom paint herself. Like that's how she paints herself. But
Yeah, that chick was cold.
that's what I'm
Like she
saying.
she
Like, and I
was she
see it
was
sometimes.
cold and a gangster.
I see it sometimes too. That's the thing that it gets because like I know when it comes out, I can see it. I'm like, this is it. Like I know there are certain aspects of like my personality I get from her because I find myself egging her on. I'm like, oh yeah, we've been public. I'm like, yep. Like don't let her say that. And like she'll be like on it. I'm like, yes, like I get this from you because I'm like because it's like I feel like it's just like this it's like little things, but like there's certain things I'm like I'll jump on my soapbox for it right now and I don't care. Like there's little things that I will. And like I feel like they're unnecessary, but like that's just what I believe in. Like I'll stand on my soapbox for these things, and she has the same things, and like I know what they are. So like anytime I see them, I'll look at her, I'm like, and it's like I'll just do something, and she'll like and then like she'll react. I'm like, yes, like it's the best thing ever because like there's like little things I know, but like other things I just don't. So I gotta get big with it on that though. I gotta find those things out. Uh, But oh
Yeah, they always there.
yeah,
For
but
sure.
how long we been doing this? We might have to cut it here.
Yeah, yeah. It was a good
Dude,
one though.
40 does a good one. We haven't been out. We haven't been a while, so we have to get these back. We have to get these back on it. So
Yeah,
that's
y'all
good.
gotta stay tuned. We might have some I think we should I might try to get Josh on here or something.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, I'm down to get
Like,
people. I gotta just invite people. Like,
yeah, he'll just talk.
get like a
He's
friend
not,
on or just some people random.
yeah,
Family.
just anybody.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, peoples.
Yeah. Yep, that was fun. Little session today. So stay
Yep,
tuned
yep.
for more. We get some special guests coming on soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right.